strong Winnipeg looking to continue their dominance at home. They have posted 8 consecutive winning seasons at Princess Auto Stadium and hope to build off that thrilling victory in Calgary last week. Hamilton, on the other hand, looking to forget about their opening night loss and pick up their very first win of the season. I'll tell you this, there's nothing like being in Winnipeg right now and seeing a Bombers game at home, but a home opener is a totally different level right now. Enoch Mwamba, David Sanchez, Milt Siegel, and Milt, I know you know this better than anyone, but there is a vibe to Winnipeg in this league right now. It is deafening down on the field right now.
I didn't hear your question, Kate, but I know what you asked me. About the vibe in Winnipeg. There's nothing else like it. Yes, there are some great organizations in the CFL, but this is the flagship organization. This is the creme de la creme. This is the top of the totem pole. The fans, the coaches, everyone, they do a great job here. But it means nothing if you don't go on the field and win. This team is expected to not only win games, but make it to the Grey Cup. And it starts tonight, their first home game. It's going to be an exciting atmosphere, but they got to show it on the football field.
Yeah, like Enoch said, they have the pieces, but they're going to have to play at an extremely high level. And like I said earlier, this passing offense showed me something last week. The route running, watch Pokey Wilson today. He's impressed. He's grown this offseason. He's a guy to be dealt with, and he's right there with Tim White as that guy. Watch for him to have a big night tonight.
You're right, Milt. This has been the example of the CFL this team has over the years. There's multiple teams that look at this team and say, we got to build our team like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have, and they have been trying to do that. But when you talk about this game tonight, they have to come out and show up. And I'm looking at the defense. They duplicate what they did last week. Talk about Jake Serezna and that defensive line. They got to apply pressure to Bo Levi tonight.
Let's gauge the field behind us for O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Little bit of rain, no problem for these fans. The Blue Bombers home opener ready to kick off. Marshall Ferguson and Paul LaPolice with the call coming up after this. Zaki of Calgary, Alberta. This is your chance to win big. This is Save on Foods $1 million touchdown to win. If a kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns in this game, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Linda. Let's get you to the guys calling it. It's Lapo and Marshall.
Thank you, Kate, and welcome to Week 2, Canada. We begin the 3-game weekend slate with 2 teams on opposing ends of a classic CFL ending in week number 1, the walk-off field goal. As one of the CFL's most passionate fan bases shows why they're the class of the CFL once again and hope that their team can match the energy. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the broadcast booth. Marshall Ferguson, Paul LaPolice, Danielle Bain down there at field level for us in the rain for now. But we'll see how this goes over the next couple of hours. But it is a matchup of 2 veteran quarterbacks. We obviously know their mettle. Bo Levi Mitchell coming off back-to-back seasons for the first time in his CFL career where he had 5,000 yards passing.
And the interesting thing, talking to Scott Milanovic this week, he said, we put the most systems I've ever put in a season, and Bo can handle it. The thing I love about Bo, he has been throwing the checkdowns and taking those one-on-one shots to Kenny Lawler when available, but he's not forcing the football. And Zach Collaros, everyone's talking about, hey, they got to run the football away. The game goes through Zach Collaros. Most interception in the CFL last year. year. Last week, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He protects the football. This team goes a long way this season, Marshall.
There is Mike O'Shea, the head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. As I asked him this week, what do you got in your office? You got Mike O'Shea memorabilia? He said, no. This is all about the team.
Nothing of that.
This is a very simple man that just wants to get victory. He's able to do that in week 1. And Scott Milanich felt like he should have had a victory last week against the Montreal Alouettes at home in the season opener. But of course, the Montreal Alouettes storming back and causing havoc for the Ticats as they now go on the road and look to get their first win of the season as the rain is drifted in over the top of Princess Auto Stadium. And the man who ended the Bombers' Week 1 matchup, Sergio Castillo, with the walk-off field goal from 38 yards away, has this one on the tee. From the 30-yard line, we're set to go. Welcome to Week 2. Let's play some CFL football as it drops down to Isaiah Wooden at his own 10-yard line, runs through one tackler and gets popped at the 30-yard line. And we get our first opportunity to see Bo Levi Mitchell. Had extremely high completion percentage last week, 34 of 39 in the season opener. And
that's what I talked about off the top of the show. They played very well. They only had 2 penalties all game, Marshall. Moved the ball well, but a pick 6 late in pick 6 in the 3rd quarter, and then a turnover in overtime pretty much sealed the deal for their loss, I believe, in that last game.
Well, as soon as I reference the rain, the sun pops through the clouds. Get used to that for the remainder of the evening, as it'll be back and forth as a heavy set in here right away with Max Mang and Nancy Litre in as double tight end set. Tiger Cats show heavy and give the run inside Larry Roundtree the 3rd. He pounds his way forward for a gain of 5, maybe 6 as we look at the Hamilton Tiger Cats starting offense.
Yeah, I'm really interested. You know, Liam Dobson moves inside, and Dumalier Duguay from Laval gets the move. They're making a move, take Kolinkowski off the field. Carrick Weekfall comes back to his old team, had a really good game last week. He's going to be somebody who can get some of the underneath stuff and the go balls that Bo loves to throw.
And Bo working against this crowd, not just the Winnipeg defense, as he's checking at the line of scrimmage. Willie Jefferson flies off the edge. They'll go draw handoff inside. And putting his head down and crossing the 40-yard line for a Hamilton first down. Once again, it is Larry Roundtree, 3rd.
So 2nd and 5 is a very high percentage pass in the Canadian Football League, usually 90. And you see everybody out of the box. There's only 4 players. You release 1 lineman upfield, let the D-line rush upfield, and then just hand it to your tailback, give him some space to go. And again, 5 yards. Sometimes you don't like calling those draws on 2nd and 15, Marshall. You call it on 2nd and 5, you know you're going to get the first like they did right there.
The sprint, the former Bomber Carrick Weekfall out to the outside, grabs some ice, go back inside. 3 plays, 3 rushes for Larry Roundtree, as we all expected for a group that had 39 pass attempts in week 1 as we look at the opposing Winnipeg defense.
Jake Seresna, 1 sack all of last season, 3 in week 1. Great addition, a veteran player in that group. I love the play of Jones. Jones has been outstanding for this defense last couple of years, and Rhett Cranby, one of the smartest football players that Mike O'Shea's ever coached.
Under center, Jake Dolagala. Short yardage quarterback will plunge his way to the right-hand side and pick up the first down. You mentioned Liam Dobson going to center. Went back and looked at it. Nearly 2,000 snaps in his time with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers here. 2022 to 24, Lapo, and 0 at center. The only time he's played center for the Hamilton Tiger Cats was last year in 1 game. It happened to be the East Final against the Montreal Alouettes, and he graded out very highly. So stepping in for Chris Kolinkowski, who you see on the sideline there watching on as they shuffle there, Nate Dumoulin-Duguay into that right guard position. And that offensive line, key to the Tiger Cats controlling the first really 2.5, 3 quarters against Montreal last week. Back to the ground they go, pulling around the edge is Dumoulin-Duguay, and on first down goes for a gain of about 4.5 yards. And Larry Roundtree getting plenty of work right out of the gates.
And Roundtree bounces it out on the outside of the defense. Sometimes you have to make sure, the first thing you have to do defensively is make sure you cover the outside gaps. No player on the outside. Roundtree recognizes it, bounces it outside for a nice 5-yard gain.
But a rainbow there on the outside of Princess Auto Stadium. See if Bo sends one high in the sky for the first time here on 2nd down and 5. Mitchell throws left, and short of the first down marker, Johnny Augustine Was waiting for it to drop out of the Winnipeg air into his waiting arms, grabs it, but will come up about 1.5 yards, maybe even 2 yards shy.
Just throw out into the flat, empty protection. What does that mean? You take everybody out, you spread out to 6 receivers. Johnny Augustine on the out route. He's got to get a little bit more depth. All he needs is 1 more yard and then go for the quarterback sneak. It's not great situational football by Johnny, but the ball was held up in the air a little bit by Bo there.
Late decision, but the Tiger Cats do decide to punt it away, so they send out Mitch McCarthy, the Aussie, in that spot. 2025, by the way, Hamilton ended 41% of their drives with points, tied for the best in the CFL with the BC Lions, who get their season underway this weekend. In week 2 is Trey Babel, the double award winner from the CFL Awards last year, hauls it in with flags in the air. And we'll sort that out on the other side as this head-to-head matchup. Can't take these for granted. Bo Levi Mitchell and this guy, Zach Collaros, now a Bombers legend when we return. No, that's not a Farmer's Almanac that you're looking at with all the years listed. That is actually the years in which these two quarterbacks have won significant things in the Canadian Football League. Thinking about this one coming in, Lapo, and you really cannot take for granted the fact that these two veterans, these standout, these Hall of Famer quarterbacks, we get to see them play head-to-head tonight in a great environment, right? This is special. And
the interesting thing about that board is each have 2 Grey Cup wins, and these are outstanding quarterbacks. Just shows how hard it is to sometimes win a Grey Cup, even when you have great quarterbacking. But Zach and Bo have done it for a long time at a high level.
Collaros turns 38 in August, but still got that young arm as he hands it off inside, and Brady Oliveira plunges forward for a couple of yards as we get a look at Zach Collaros and his numbers here coming into week number 2 after coming off a season with a career-high 16 interceptions, tied for the most in the CFL.
Yeah, and the thing I loved about working with Zach in 2019 is just his love of the game. He would stay all day. He would stay into the night with me to do the game plans and make sure he was up to speed on what we're running offensively, and he had a lot of input and wanted to have a lot of input. You love that in your starting quarterback.
Wynton McMahon is still out. Ryan Baker, the middle linebacker, makes a check at the line of scrimmage as Destin Talbert blitzes late, and it threw off Collaros just a little bit, but able to sidearm it. The Tiger Cats say it should be incomplete, but Tommy Neal, for now, the McMaster product playing against hometown team, they'll say he's got possession, and Winnipeg goes quickly to try and limit Hamilton's opportunity to challenge.
So
right away, handoff inside. They get the completion, and Oliveira taking hay while the sun shines.
So great execution here by the Bombers. Watching let's take a look at this. We think this may be an incompletion, and the Bombers do a good enough job understanding the situation. This ball touches the ground. Looks like it might have. Okay, I think we got a better angle right here. You see it kind of bounce down. So how does this work? The Bombers get up to the line of scrimmage before any coaches upstairs get to see it. They call a play immediately. It's situational football you work on with your team.
5 wide for Collaros. Looks over the middle of the defense. It's complete. Neal, 2 for 2. And this one never in doubt. Over the outstretched arms of Ryan Baker for a big chunk play. And that's not new with Collaros taking shots down the field plenty in week 1.
You clear people out, and then you play somebody behind on a layered throw. And the hard part is the defense is dropping from the line of scrimmage, so it's so difficult to find them. They're just spot dropping. Huge spot. Zach recognizes it and knows where he's going with the football. That's a great throw to Tommy Neal.
Heavy set in here. Double tights for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Handed off inside. Brady Oliveira trying to get away from the backside tackler. Gude trying to make the tackle for loss, but couldn't get a grasp on number 20 as he leads this offense.
Hey, not a lot to talk about this. Tyler Ellsbury at O-line. This is an American offensive, you play an American. The first time the Bombers have started 3 American offensive linemen in a long time. And Tim White comes back to face his own team. 5 catches last week, 60 yards and a touchdown. Really enjoys being back with Tommy Condell, knows the system, so it's an easy transition for him in training camp.
Late shift from the Tiger Cats defense. Collaros sees it and sends Nick Dembski in motion. And Zach, now with pressure, steps up in the pocket, pumps, and Collaros spinning away. And he got the first down. Looks like, well, it'll be close. Mike O'Shea right there at the sticks, taking a good hard look at it about
watch this, Marshall. Look at all these guys. They got like a bunch of guys standing in the line of scrimmage. They're trying to make it difficult for not only Zach, but the offensive line. Brent Munson, defense coordinator of the Ticats, showing a lot of different pictures early in this game and dropping players out. Zach didn't have anything he liked, so pull it down and get the yardage. And again, you get the 1 yard, gives you the opportunity to go to QBC.
No hesitation from head coach Mike O'Shea. Sends in the short yardage package with Bryce Perkins at quarterback. And it looks as though he has got it comfortably. First down, Winnipeg.
Julian Hauser, 13 sacks last year, second in the CFL. He's going to have to continue to have an impact this year. I love Reggie Stubblefield. His film was so good. Obviously injured, coming off an injury from 2 years ago. Was able to get in the lineup last year, 4 tackles last week. And Greg Jr., field corner, first-year player, 7 defensive tackles. Played pretty well for a young player. Watching him, expect good things from him.
Claro saying one of the players he respects the most, and not just Hamilton's defense, but the CFL at large, is Stavros Katsantonis with the range he has. As Claros will throw across his body, big hit. Back into the traffic flow goes Tommy Nield, and Jamal Peters is down. And the Hamilton defense asking for immediate assistance. As Nield off to a quick start, and the training staff will attend to Jamal Peters. We'll be right back to Winnipeg. Welcome back to Winnipeg. You see players down on a knee, and the concern right now for Jamal Peters, standout boundary corner for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, is we'll give you one look at it here with Tommy Nield making the reception, and then just one of those bang-bang football plays with Peters trying to do anything he can to make contact, but it looks like Nield's knee just caught him in the side of the helmet.
Yeah, he's trying to make the play on Tommy, and you know, sometimes when your head's down, you're going to take a shot to the knee, and those are difficult. Those are really difficult because you know, the knee's going to deliver a blow, so he took that shot. Jamal Peters, so good for this team. 6 interceptions last year, tied for first on the football team. 6-year player, good, outstanding player.
Yeah, it looks like Devondrick Bynum is jumping into the lineup and will likely take that place as they shuffle the deck on the back end. We'll sort through exactly what the personnel package is, but the 26-year-old DB, 19 games over 2 years in Edmonton, had 5 interceptions and CFL training camp with the Calgary Stampeders, and then released. And Hamilton quickly picked him up. As you see Destin Talbert watching on alongside Bynum.
So now they're just make sure they're doing their best to protect, try to minimize movement of the head. So Stavros Katsantonis.
Of course, the discussion always here, and the reason why they're so cautious with it, right, is that you can think, yes, it is a head injury, but they also need to make sure that there is integrity of everything else, whether it be neck, shoulder, and try to make sure that it's done in the most well-organized policy followed to make sure that he is safe to be able to move. As Scott Milanovich walks his way across the field. It looks as though they will bring stretcher out here. And so we will step away with Jamal Peters getting the very best care from Princess Auto Stadium early on, scoreless in Winnipeg. Welcome back to Winnipeg as the training staff from both teams now continue to work on Jamal Peters, involved in the Tommy Nield collision on the last play. His Tiger Cats teammates watching on, standing nearby. Is back in the lineup is Braxton Hill here tonight. Julian Hauser close, as well as some of the captains and leaders of this group, trying to make sure they are near to the situation to show their support right now, as Brent Monson watches on from the sidelines as well, and Scott Milanovich made his way out to go and see Jamal Peters as well, and checked in and went back to the sideline.
Yeah, Jamal, as he was trying to make a tackle, he went low, and Tommy Nield was trying to jump up, and Tommy Nield's knee got into Jamal Peters. I think hit him right. His knee hit him right in the head, so hopefully he's going to do okay. Once they get him on the stretcher and protect him and make sure he's okay.
Again, one of those things that moments like this where the game just comes to a screeching halt with incredible energy in the stands, is it reminds you as you watch Jarrell Proxton and Patty Neufeld watching on is 19 league, right? And you start thinking about the dress roster sizes and how often guys have played with or against each other. There is a ton of mutual respect, and Jamal Peters, it doesn't matter necessarily about the caliber of player that you are, but everybody knows Jamal Peters. Everybody has seen what he can do in the CFL. And right now they just want the very best for him.
One of the coolest things about this league is how small, like you say, the teams are, the relationships all these players have from team to team, and the relationships they build. So a lot of Bomber fans making sure that Jamal Peters is okay too.
As the Winnipeg faithful once again packing the stands here this evening as expected. And they wait patiently, just like the Tiger Cats and Bombers do, for Jamal Peters to get top-notch care.
And that's the hard part for all these players, as these players are thinking about their teammate. The hardest part of this now is they know their teammate's going to get taken care of. They know they're going to give them the best help, but they have to then go get focused again, especially for the Ticats, and go play football. That's the worst part of sometimes playing these professional sports. The game must go on.
Yeah. And it's, you never want this to happen at any point in any sporting event, let alone life. But the thing that always kind of blows me away is you get basically, your whole day is predicated around eating the right food, getting stretched at the right time, getting loose, the build up, the intensity, the pregame. You go through the first couple of drives, and then the reality is that there is no alternative other than to deal with the reality of the situation, which is concern for Jamal Peters, and the game taking a backseat to anything else.
Yeah, and then the players got to do their best to go play for their teammate, and that's the hardest part coming out of this extended break, thinking about their teammate, but then they got to refocus their teammate. Jamal Peters wants them to go finish the game and get the win, so they got to get refocused and help win the game for Jamal Peters.
It's good to see. Have Peters up and onto the stretcher as his face mask has been removed. Looks like helmet shell still on, and great respect from the 15th straight sellout here at home from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers fans. As you would expect. And this is the tough moment to see one of your friends and teammates, a guy you had breakfast and lunch and all the rest with, exiting the field in a way that you certainly do not want to see. As Zach Collaros and Brady Oliveira, the leaders of the Winnipeg offense, give their maximum respect and take the time to make sure that Jamal Peters can hear their voice as well as he's secured with the medical staff. And the training staff's talking to each other as well and discussing next steps moving forward here as the game, of course, will continue. As Mike O'Shea just made sure that he went down the bench and gave Jamal Peters a little tap on the arm. And with 6 minutes remaining here in the first quarter, the difficult task at hand for both clubs is to go back to football intensity. And it is the reality, and so they will play. As Collaros, play action, goes to the back of the end zone, and did it fall out of the arms of, was that Tommy Neal once again? Wow, he had 3 catches all of last week on 4 targets. Had 3 catches, the only receiver to catch a pass in this first drive, and nearly at his 4th.
Zone read, pulls the ball, breaks it on the perimeter, sees Tommy Neal in the back pylon. You're trying to tell him to run to the back pylon. The ball's in. You wish it would have gone up a little bit sooner. Tommy's still got to make this catch. If he doesn't bobble this is a touchdown. But he bobbles it a little bit, doesn't control it. Difficult. Should have been a touchdown for the Bombers.
Neal had an early drop in week 1 against Calgary. He's only had 5 career drops over 54 games before last week. Now he's got 2 on this season, matching his career high for a single season as Collaros looks left and rips this one, tapped up in the air and almost intercepted. Looking for the little in-breaking route, but Closest to it was Reggie Stubblefield, who said last week, for the first time since he's been a Tiger Cat, he really felt like himself, back to normal after the injury he dealt with last season.
And trusting that they can play some man coverage down here at the goal line, and they show up, and we're able to make a play on the outside. When you're in man coverage, you got to be able to cover guys down, run with them on those inside crossing routes, and make the play, knock the football down. It's a good play by Greg Jr.
3 career 60-yard field goals for Sergio Castillo. This one nowhere close to it as he hits the chip shot. Tommy Neal with a great opportunity. Former 30th overall selection of the Toronto Argonauts, making his way to Saskatchewan, and then here to Winnipeg. Almost had 6, but the scoring opened by the Bombers at home. Hamilton Tiger Cats in the season opener, their home opener as well against the Montreal Alouettes. They were controlling it until they weren't. As you see the overtime fumble there by Carrick Wheatfall, and that is an absolute death sentence when it comes to CFL football in overtime. Lapo, the numbers not great when you have a turnover on the first possession, and Jose Maltos Diaz knocks it through, and Hamilton starts their season just like they ended it, with a walk-off field goal for the Alouettes in their barn. Bo Levi Mitchell goes back to work after staying on the sideline for a while. Nice hands catch, snagging it out of the air. There's KL89. Kenny Lawler back to work here in Winnipeg.
Why is Kenny Lawler one of the best, if not the best, in the CFL? Watch the catch radius on this catch here as we run it right and roll it. The ball is behind him, and then he goes, okay, I just got to find a spot, and he can throw his body back. He's got the awareness to know it's behind, and he's got the body control to put his hand, big paws up, and make that catch. Great play by one of the best to ever do it.
Tapped him up before the game down in the tunnel, and I was standing about 3 feet away from him when I gave him a little high five and said hello as Mitchell. Pomp looks for Wheatfall, the former Bomber, all the way down the left side and brings it in. Carrick Wheatfall and Jonathan Moxey. It's the former Bomber making the grab on the former Tiger Cat for a gain of 52.
Carrick Wheatfall is going to be one of the big play receivers in this to complement Kenny Lawler. Jonathan Moxey caught looking in the backfield a little bit. Bo Levi fakes like he's throwing it down. See that little hesitation? That's all it takes. Bo knows where he's going with the football. Great throw downfield to way to get a huge play and flip the field.
Tiger Cats offense slow getting organized. They hand it off, and it's Larry Roundtree the third. Driven down by Kyrie Wilson, playing in middle linebacker, of course, because Joel Santos knocks out for the season with a non-contact injury in the first day of training camp, and trying to go back to that ground game. Once again, Carrick Wheatfall found the end zone in his Ticats debut, a little 4-yard run, but you got a feeling they want to get him one through the air here back at his old stomping grounds.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about the run game. Like Larry Roundtree, like Scott Melandrin said in our meeting this week, we got to do a better job running the football. We got to make sure we don't abandon it. We make sure that we're not a one-dimensional offense, and we think we can run the ball better.
Charlie Gittens Jr. shuffles down the line of scrimmage next to fellow Canadian Keandre Smith. That's where Mitchell goes. Smith dives to the end zone. Touchdown, Tiger Cats.
The Tiger Cats emptied the backfield. What does that mean? There's 6 receivers out. The Bombers are still trying to pressure, but they're playing zone behind it. See that big space that Keandre Smith just sat in? When you're trying to pressure like that, you've got to be careful of how much zone space you create. Keandre Smith's in the right spot, or he adjusted his route and sat in the dead area. Bo knows that, puts it on him for a nice touchdown. Once again, Marshall, when you have an explosive play, you are 5 times likely to score a touchdown.
Mark Leggio knocks the extra point through. Keandre Smith in his 5th year in the Canadian Football League, and coming off his first 1,000-yard season.
So here's what I want you to show. There is going to be some pressure, but it's going to happen from a zone picture. So if you roll it, and Keandre Smith's right here. So follow Keandre Smith. as this ball happens, you'll see defenders kind of working to the flat. They're trying to go out that way. When you're expanding in zones, that's too big of a space. Keandre just sits in it. Bo recognizes the halfback working for width, just throws that ball underneath. So great recognition from Bo and Keandre Smith to get the first touchdown of the year. And there it is. We haven't seen the neck. You know, he always has great neck jewelry. Always see that each year.
It's like one of those viral trends where the chain gets bigger every game throughout the year until all of a sudden you realize.
And let's talk about Kenny Lawler and Keandre Smith. Think about Keandre Smith had the biggest game last year for receptions in a game. Last season against BC Lions, 14 catches. That was the best in the CFL. Why? Hey, if everybody's going to take away Kenny Lawler, these other players are going to get big plays. Keandre Smith gets his first touchdown of the year.
Tiger Cats passing offense last year, first in the CFL with those 37 passing touchdowns. And Bo Levi Mitchell throws one here to get things going in Winnipeg on the road in week 2. And goes immediately back to the tablet, starts plotting the next touchdown pass. Trey Babel crosses the 30 to the 35, dancing in the open field and almost shot the gap. Finally wrapped up and brought down Jordan Crook. Got the last piece of him, but it took several Tiger Cats to bring down Babel on another electric return.
And, you know, obviously, Trey Babel, is somebody you better plan. I know Bob Dice, special teams coordinator, is going to make sure he does everything in his power to work. These don't happen often. Returns all the way to the wide side of the field because there's so much ground to cover, so many fast players. So this is what you call a field return. The ball's kicked to the boundary, you go to the field, finds a crease, and able to get good yardage all the way out to the 45.
Tiger Cats scoring a 4-play, 70-yard touchdown drive. See if Colaros can answer his counterpart, Bo Levi Mitchell. As Tim White, another former Tiger Cat, gets his first touch of the ball game. Work number 12 in. He said he wasn't thinking too much about anything other than just trying to get a victory in his first Blue Bombers home game, but you can get the feeling now that the juices are flowing.
I'm going to highlight him and the defender up there. Go ahead and play it. Tim White, this is a play-action pass. This is one of Tommy Condell's staples. I'm going to max protect, and we're going to throw the ball on the outside in a one-on-one situation. We're going to make this route so deep, zones turn to man, and he can throw. Nice, easy throw to Tim White.
Inside handoff, little shuffle step from Brady Oliveira. Great job on the defensive line. Actually, that's Reggie Stubblefield that came down and made the play. Tim White led Winnipeg last week, by the way, 5 of 6 for 60 yards and a touchdown. So he's already connected with Colaros and mixing him in more and more here in week 2.
Watch Reggie Stubblefield. He's covering the receiver, and when he sees the receiver block, he's free to go ahead and fill and make the play. We talked about him off the top of it, like having guys in the box who can cover but also play the run is so crucial in the Canadian Football League. One of the best at it. Really good pick, free agent signing last season by the Ticats.
I love about that is Stubblefield's 30 pounds down on Oliveira. Now Dembski running to the end zone, reaches touchdown. Winnipeg answers. Nick Dembski missed practice this week with an ankle. In the lineup here today and in the end zone.
We've seen a lot of corner routes for touchdowns to the corner of the end zone between Zach Colaros and Nick Dembski. Zach sees it all the way. He sees the corner and the halfback low. He sees inside position from the safety. I'm going to take this shot on the perimeter. Great location, great rundown by Dembski, running the football down. Well touch.
Dio is good. So after 4 plays, 70 yards for the Tiger Cats. How about 3 plays, 65 yards? It's been 7 plays total, and both teams end with 7.
And what's good about this drive, you get a big explosive first down, nice easy throw to Tim White on the outside. Get a run or two. Put yourself in a position where you're flipping the field, and then the big explosive play to Nick Dembski. Obviously, Dembski just so good at playing a number of spots. You can give him speed sweeps, you can put him inside the slot. He was just blocking on the previous play, trying to block a defensive end. So multiple receivers, that's what you want, guys who can do a number of things. Tommy Neal's another guy that the Bombers added who can block, okay, and catch the ball downfield. So big smile for Mike O'Shea, as much as smile we're going to get from him today.
We got a track meet, partner.
Yes, it's good.
32 years old, Nick Dembski, and that's his 43rd career touchdown. He's also inching close to 500 career catches. Only 18 Canadians have ever done that in the history of the CFL. He sits now about 2 shy of that mark. The last to do it, by the way, with 500 career catches, some guy named Andrew Harris. Finished his career with 609 catches. Now Hamilton with an opportunity to respond to the response. As Isaiah Wooden hits it to speed, 5 flies. Being tracked down out at his own 45-yard line and thrown down by Evan Holm into the Tiger Cats bench. At the explosive plays, back and forth they go. Heavyweight
Double move
out here in the first quarter.
Double move on the outside. Get Jonathan Moxey looking in the backfield. What happens? You flip the field, and a touchdown happens 2 plays later. And then what does Zach do? He brings his own explosive play, leads to the touchdown. He sees the coverage, misaligned, recognizes immediately, throws it immediately, and that's off of a big explosive play to Tim White to start the drive. So both teams starting to loosen up their arms and get the ball downfield.
Holding the call against the Tiger Cats. That's why they are backing up deep into their own end. There's plenty of work to be done for the Black and Gold with 27 seconds remaining in this first quarter. And how about a couple of Canadian receivers as well? Some of the best in the entire country. Nick Dembski and Keandre Smith into the end zone in the first quarter. And you just know that plenty of other names out there watching right now on Thursday Night Football with the CFL and TSN thinking they want their shot to enter the conversation. Mitchell high on his tippy toes, looking over the top. It's Kenny Lawler and just missed him at the 55 as Lawler peeks over his shoulder at Dietrich Nichols and knew he had him.
A little bit of downfield double move. You watch him. He's going to run up. The halfback cover him. He starts to lean inside, and then he goes, I'm going to break all the way across the field. So Dietrich Nichols is in a tough position because he's inside. This is great protection because this play takes a lot of time. Bo just misses it a little bit. You can feel that he missed that.
Hamilton getting the most zone of any team in the CFL last year, 75%. Scared of man coverage. Kenny Lawler, that time they miss against zone as this pass hauled in by Myron Mitchell. Makes the grab out at the 20-yard line. It'll be a Hamilton first down, a well-earned one on target. Pitch and catch from Bo Levi Mitchell to Myron Mitchell. But what a start we got here in Manitoba. It's the home opener. They sold the building out once again, and the quarterbacks are delivering early on. As plenty of action remains here from the Peg. Plenty of energy here inside Princess Auto Stadium, and our new Winnipeg bureau chief, her first game covering the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We threw her right into the middle of the fray. Where is Danielle Payne?
You guys, it's my first game. I had to experience Winnipeg's largest nightclub, so where else would we be than the Rum Hut? But I do have to say, it might have been a mistake bringing the Milt Stegall up here because we could barely get through the crowd without this famous guy. What are the vibes like, Milt?
Oh, they're great. This is special. Every single team needs to try to duplicate this because this is special. I don't drink, but I think you have someone who drinks, right?
Do you hear that? What? Kate?
Oh, my
Kate,
goodness.
you're supposed to be working on the panel. Well, guys, I can report the vibes are high at the Rum Hut.
Thank you, Danielle.
Do you think, let's just, maybe our producer, could we call the game from the Rum Hut? What with the, get a couple rums and just get us a ladder or a chair? We can stand up.
Also, I heard Milt has a residency down there. He actually just stays year-round.
Amazing job the Bombers have done with this. They have a DJ at the end of the game so people go out on the football field and throw around while people get out of the stadium.
This place is what CFL football should feel like. Energy all over the building. And Gareth Wheatball nearly hauled it in with 1 minute. That would have quieted the fans considerably on the first play of the second quarter.
So once again, the Ticats threw the ball deeper than any team in the CFL. You can see Moxie here. He's running the out. This is called a wheel route here. It's an out and a wheel route. So out wheel. Moxie's in a good position. He keeps running, looking back. There's a little bit of play. Good by the refs. Keep their in the pocket. Forcing the 2nd and 10.
And amongst all this, we haven't said the name Jake Serezda yet. Had a career-high 3 sacks in week number 1 as Mitchell protected to get things going. Myron Mitchell waiting for it. Did he make the grab? They'll say yes. Spotted just shy. Officials talking it over to confirm.
And you're seeing Myron Mitchell kind of look to his sideline to tell his coaches, hey, if you want to go with tempo and go with speed in case this is not a catch. But the problem is this is not a first down. It's a 3rd and 1, so it's a bigger decision. Needs a little bit more time. That's why. And they need to probably trying to change their personnel. So that's why you see this happen.
You have control right there. Yes. Wow, they dragged that back left toe. So Jake Dolegala from his own 30-yard line will go for it on 3rd and 1. The right-hand side and the big frame of Dolegala. Going to need all of that 6'7" to get the first down. And they will move the 6.
Stay on side. Get lower. Offensive line, get low. Keep your feet moving. A little bit of pause by Jake and then fall forward for the first.
Ayers was almost there, got first contact.
You know, the Bo Levi Mitchell taking some shots. Now, what we understand, deep ball offense last year, 118 deep shots, first in the CFL. You really want to make sure that, like, you mix in those, but don't put yourself in too many of those 2nd and long situations.
Hand off, jump cut through the middle of traffic, and again, Liam Dobson, the former Winnipeg Blue Bomber, getting the start at center here tonight, following that left-hand side of the line with Brandon Revenberg right there in the mix as well.
And you did see the change up front, like you just said about Liam Dobson. Watch Liam Dobson here. He moves the defender over him to give Roundtree that opportunity. You want to keep going, pressing the hole, and when the defense displaces, you cut right behind it and get north-south for yardage. Good movement at the center position.
Another former Blue Bomber, Chris Polankowski, expected to be the starting center, but out with a groin injury. The 34-year-old watches on here, and a depth roll is right down the hash. Hitting it with speed is Larry Roundtree III.
A little bit different picture, but kind of doing the same thing. Widening is what we call an outside zone play, where you go outside zone and then let all the defenders run, and then I'm going to cut back behind. Roundtree's nice and patient on that. And 2nd and 3 to get big gain for the first.
Max Mang, the big German, is in at tight end for the Tiger Cats, who worked the silent count against this crowd. Complete, and Roundtree hoping he could wriggle his way away from the outstretched arms of Tony Jones, who enters week 2 as the CFL co-leader with 8 tackles and was one of just 3 players with 100 or more defensive tackles in 2025 with Micah Awe and Darnell Sankey, who gets underway with the BC Lions against Saskatchewan this week.
Yeah, Tony Jones, the players love talking to the coaches. They just love everything he brought to the table last season. Fast, aggressive, and as you say, can make tackles all over the place.
That guy loves football when he filled in a middle linebacker admirably. They fell in love with him as Mitchell looks right, comes back left, and completes. And that is Curly Gittins Jr. making the grab. Has had himself a couple of catches in the opener last week against Montreal, and back on the stat sheet here.
So there is more pressure from the Bombers. So the Bombers are trying to disguise what they do and then continue to drop out into these zones. And there are just some of these holes in the zone. Curly Gittins Jr. is in a good position to know, hey, I'm just going to settle and turn around. Bo can see those players dropping out and know where the spots are. So good by Curly Gittins Jr. 50 yards last week on 7 catches. Still being active in the offense.
Levi Mitchell stands in tall, has time, and it's complete chopping down Keandre Smith, but not until he's inside the 30-yard line. And once again, the Mitchell to Smith connection that had the touchdown earlier has the Tiger Cats moving.
So this is what I would call a dig, and then you return. We bring it back out to the sideline. You're trying to tell the defender who's coming to me that, hey, you stay in there, and then I'm going to work to the sideline. It picks up enough space for Major Williams to corner, and it keeps the defenders from expanding to you. Nice execution on the dig return route.
Mitchell, the two-time Grey Cup champion, two-time Grey Cup MVP. He loves playing in environments like this with the noise. As he pulls it this time, looks to throw or run, and he does rip it complete. Myron Mitchell on the receiving end is just in a rhythm right now, playing free, having fun, pump faking, running around.
Zone read, watch Willie Jefferson. If Willie Jefferson closes in on Bo Levi Mitchell, you don't expect him to pull it off. And the other reason that's really good is if you have a blocker, Willie Jefferson's going to close. That gives him time to get on the outside. And Evan Holmes in a bind because it's just too much time. And then the receivers, Mitchell's just waiting to find the space and get the pickup.
Let's look up front from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Will they send it? They do. Inside handoff, clunky operation from the very start for the Tiger Cats. And Winnipeg all over it with Retta Cranby.
So Retta Cranby, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're not going to be able to block them all. Okay, you're going to end up blocking them in here. Retta Cranby's free. He's coming right to the quarterback and the running back. Cranby's unblocked at the point of attack. You either got to have something built in where you throw it, or somebody's got to add in one of the receivers to block that edge. Jordan Younger, hey, he's tired of all those completions. I'm going to change it up. Here comes the pressure.
Clear message sent. Now what can Hamilton do on 2nd and 15? Mitchell with pressure, steps up in the pocket, pumps. Bo's going to use the wheels. Oh, Mitchell reaching the football for the first down marker. And at 36 years young, Bo Levi Mitchell, he doesn't use them often, but when he does, it's effective.
And last year, Bo did some things where he was using his legs when he needed to. Hey, I can't see the picture. I'm just going to take off and run. And if he has 6 of these in a season, if it just extends one first down with his legs a game, that is huge for an offensive unit.
Last week, Mitchell going over 300 passing yards for the 60th time in his illustrious career. 8th most all-time and first amongst active players. This time uses his legs. And now he'll go back to the arm. Flips it underneath. Knocks bang! Welcome to the CFL and welcome to the end zone, 82.
When you have a good run game, you make people think about other things. Here's our tight end. Retta Cranby has to cover the tight end. Now, watch what happens. It's a fake run. Now, Retta Cranby has to run all the way across the field and not get caught up. He gets caught up looking into the backfield, and then the ball is thrown outside. So, very good execution of conflict of assignment on the Sam linebacker, the strong side linebacker. So really good touchdown by Max Mang, first-year player from Syracuse, the Orange.
I believe Bo Levi Mitchell is what the kids call in his bag right now. There's not much he can do wrong.
He has a scramble. He's got some other plays.
Max Mang.
Pretty cool name, Max Mang. Could be like a superhero or an evil person.
Can't chop the big man down. He reaches the end zone and Hamilton leads. Bo Levi Mitchell continues to control the tempo of this game and of the early Tiger Cats season. When he's at his best, they are moving it like this, and what a drive that was.
14 plays. Don't forget, this drive started on the 8-yard line. 14 plays, 102 yards. Took 7 minutes off the clock, and some clutch catches down here, and then Bo Levi using his legs and just staying on the field. When you can run a lot of plays as an offensive coordinator, you can open up your whole pass game, and here you see Max Mang getting in for the touchdown. So flexibility of play calling comes with staying on the field, being able to call all your stuff and Rolodex through all your plays to create issues for your defense.
Again, Bo, high completion percentage, just like he had the opener against the Alouettes, and also up there around halfway to a 300-yard game for the 61st time in his career as Robert Panabaker down the field with the special teams tackle on Trey Vavel. Well,
you're up, Zach.
It's back to Collaros as the world turns.
Wow.
The global phenomenon is back for a thrilling new season, and the war for the Iron Throne is about to ignite. HBO's House of the Dragon streams June 21st only on Crave. It's like a bit of a sword battle right now between a couple of veteran quarterbacks here at Princess Autos. And what rain! Yeah, those clouds have cleared away. The fur jackets are out tonight for the Strevy retirement celebration.
We could have had Cortland State if the defense was on, the Red Dragons. Jake Sereston, sorry.
Crowd D3 right here with Paul Lapalisse as Collaros flips underneath and completes. It is Brady Oliveira. Nice design on this one, Lapo.
Yeah, let's talk about a shovel play. Oh my goodness, love it. You got a shovel. So what do you do when defensive ends come upfield when you're doing the zone read? You do a shovel play right inside. Take a look at this here. So as the defensive end goes, oh, I'm going to go get the quarterback, you throw it right back to Brady where he vacated. So I love seeing these shovel plays. Don't see him often. Montreal does it every once in a while. But good execution, good game planning here by Tommy Condell.
Dealer's choice as well. Do you prefer to go left-hand flip or right-hand over?
Like to go to the right.
That time Zach goes right-hand over, and it works. As now Collaros into the hole. Tommy Neal sitting down comfortably. And 83 completely on the same page with his quarterback when it comes to zone coverage here tonight.
And a little bit, a little bit of heavy play action when you watch this end zone shot. You see all these, we've got a tight end over on this side, and they're all going to block. You have Dembski helping out. Why? Because you want max protection for your quarterback, because this is a deeper route. It's a deep, like call it a shark route. It's a bite route where he comes back to the quarterback from 15 yards deep. Easy picture, easy pocket, throw the ball, get the completion, flip the field.
Tommy Neal, 6'3", 212. Route running on display here tonight. Brady Oliveira stacked up.
The Ticats have done a good job this game so far on Brady. Brady's only averaging about 3 yards a carry. Last year, that was an issue for the Ticats. Defensively gave up 111 yards per game last in the CFL. So certainly Brady Oliveira had to be their thought process for defense coordinator there, Brent Munson. Why did they get first place last season? Because when Brent Munson came into the building, they went from last in turnover margin to first. They took the ball away better than any team in the Canadian Football League.
Bombers 6 of 9 converting on 2nd and 7+ last week against Calgary. We'll see what they do here. As Collaros, deep drop, now steps forward in the pocket, thought about dumping off to Oliveira. Now he uses the legs. And he reaches forward just shy of the 35-yard line. And Mike O'Shea points at Mike Miller, special teams coach, and says, well, we sent Castillo out for a little right foot action.
And a zone pressure, or no pressure, three-man rush, dropping everybody out in coverage. You got 8 people in coverage. Zach's trying to find, where's my checkdowns, where can I go? But what the best thing Zach does is he knows, all right, I'm going to rush, I'm going to get as many yards as I can, because I know I'm not turning the ball over here. I'm going to make sure the field goal is kicked. How do I help Serge make this an easier field goal? Not that Serge needs any help kick more long field goals than anybody in the league.
Plenty of leg as this one goes doink.
I jinxed him. I'm sorry.
Off the mark just slightly. You can see Castillo leaning as soon as he put his weight into it. Said he was living the dream, hitting the game winner with his son, 5 years old, in attendance in Calgary last week. Well, this one a bit of a nightmare for Sergio. Hamilton leads by 4. Welcome back to Winnipeg. The Tiger Cats continue to lead 14-10, but they're playing on defense without one of their star starters. With more, here's Daniel Bain.
Thanks, Marshall. Jamal Peters is conscious and in good spirits. I'm hearing from Hamilton Tiger Cats PR. He is in stable condition and is en route to a local medical facility for further evaluation, so he won't be returning tonight. All our best wishes go to Jamal Peters, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Danielle. That's great to hear. Tiger Cats offense on the field after the Sergio Castillo missed field goal and a knockdown from Tony Jones, taking a page out of Willie Jefferson's playbook that time.
Tony Jones getting involved, in some of the naked bootlegs. He's going to come off and blitz off the edge. Now, what they're trying to do is get Keandre Smith to come across, and both seasons he's trying to get the ball out. And Tony Jones is right there. Bo's going to try to change his arm angle. It's just so hard when Tony Jones blitzes and gets on top of him so fast as they try to get it to Keandre Smith underneath.
Another year in the Jordan Younger defensive system. You can feel like Jones is just playing that little bit quicker as Mitchell on second and 10 will go over the top and running free down the field. Wheat ball, and did he use just the left? It's all he needed. The former Bomber spectacular.
Top of the screen, a little bit of a post move. Great recognition by Bo, understanding I got a one-on-one on the outside. Really good by him seeing that and taking the shot outside. Weak ball makes a dynamic catch, one-handed also. As Mox is it. Awesome play on the outside for Carrick. Weak ball.
For all the Winnipeg Hamilton storylines coming in, I did not think we were going to be talking wheat ball Moxie as much as we have in this first half, but what an intense battle they've had. Is now a timeout.
It's a 3-minute timeout.
Has been hit. No, it's the 3-minute warning. As Carrick Wheatfall, 2 catches, 47 yards each. He's got 94 big ones in his return to Manitoba.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
These fans are absolutely incredible in Winnipeg. 15 straight sellout games. So I thought I'd get into the action here with some of the fans. Excuse me, ma'am. Is this your first Winnipeg Blue Bombers game?
No, I'd say that I've been to my fair share of them over the years.
Okay, a couple of here and there, I understand. So tell me, how are you enjoying your game day experience?
Hey, this is the best game day experience around. No better place to spend a night during the summer.
And is there anything that you would like to tell the people at TSN?
Where to start? Specifically with the panel. Why am I not on the panel with Kate and company? I'll see you at halftime.
The great Sarah Leske from Winnipeg.
That wasn't a random fan. It was the Sarah Leske.
Nice stop here defensively. Can I just go back to a Sarah Leske story? On my first time ever hosting a coach's playbook in Winnipeg, the panel was in the city the week before, so I thought the makeup person would be there for me, just me. They didn't, and our producer has to go, Sarah, can you go put makeup on Lapo? He has no makeup. So thank you very much, Sarah, for helping me with that years ago. I don't think anybody was happy I was on the sideline, and Sarah, I had to share hits with Sarah.
Also, SNL, we're coming for you. one sketch comedy at a time. Coming for the crown. Bo Levi Mitchell in the shotgun. Pressure on. Looks over the middle. Tommy throw. Keandre Smith has it. Reaches to the end zone, and he has his second touchdown of the ball game for Keandre Smith. Had 5 all of last year and almost halfway there.
Don't give Bo Levi Mitchell a chance versus pressure. What you're going to see, add in protection. When 2 extra guys come in, that equals 7 players when you add the offensive line. Here comes blitz. What do? They pick it up to give him enough time to get the ball out of his hands. Bo knows it. He goes, as long as you guys pick it up, I'm going to hit Keandre Smith on the middle of the field. It's very difficult for defensive backs in what you call cover 0. 0 means no help, to be able to cover the outside breaking routes and the inside breaking routes. Keandre Smith and Bo on the same page, but the protection is what got him home.
Earlier on for the Tiger Cats, it was 4 plays, 70 yards in 2.5 minutes.
We're so different. Come on.
We're so different. Okay.
Now it's 4 plays, 70 yards, 30 seconds less time it took as Bo Levi Mitchell is on fire.
And you see how quickly Bo makes that decision. He basically gets the ball, takes 2 shuffle steps, knows it's 0 and know he's protected, and I'm getting the ball out of my hands, trusting Keandre Smith. I'm going to get him another play for a touchdown.
And right off the top level, you brought up the fact that this Hamilton offense, they started with an aggressive install to this year, coming off 2 straight years of Bo Levi Mitchell throwing for 5,000 yards or more. He never did that in Calgary. In his prime, 2015 to 2018 in Calgary, it was 4,500 yards, 5,300, back down to 4,700, back up to 5,100. He's been at 5,000 plus back-to-back years, and they started camp, and Scott Milanovic told us this week, it wasn't, hey guys, we're 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, here's what an inside run looks like. It's like, hey, you guys are either catching up to where Bo's mind is, or you're not going to make this team.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, he's got 5,000-yard seasons, but one of the biggest things they had to teach him is, hey, make sure when it's not there, check it down.
Right.
Make sure when it's not there, you go ahead and use your legs and take off and run. And that just kind of proves that, hey, you keep throwing completions. You never go broke when you're putting money in the bank as a quarterback. You keep getting completions. Sooner or later, first downs will happen. You'll get the shot plays you want.
Winnipeg trails by 11 here in their home opener in front of a sellout. There's excellent special teams tackle Antti Litre down the field, and Keandre Smith always reminding you that he's one of the best Canadian receivers in this league, and certainly punctuating that in the first half here tonight.
3 catches, 49 yards, 2 touchdowns. First one sitting in the zone, finding the space. Next one, cross-facing in cover 0. Go across the face of the DB, make him threaten the outside play, but go in front of him, be in a position to catch the ball, run into the end zone. So great start for Keandre this season.
Hands it off. By the way, Bo Levi Mitchell came in ranked 8th on the Tiger Cats franchise passing yards list at just over 12,000. He entered tonight 61 yards back of his former teammate Kevin Glenn in 7th. Kevin, start of the first quarter, it was over. It was only 61 yards that he needed. So up into 7th on the Tiger Cats all-time list now in his 4th year with the black and gold.
Crazy, it's been 4 years. Hard to imagine.
And to think that he only played 6 games back in 2023 before this 2024 through 2026 fire sale is now over the middle of Nick Dembski, and this might accelerate the Winnipeg offense.
This is the problem with playing great quarterbacks who understand how to beat zone coverage. It's going to be Nick Dembski here, and what I'm going to show you as you roll it, you're going to see linebackers expanding to get underneath. Nick's in a position where he knows we've spread the defense out. Zach sees it. That's called a bender route. He's going to just throw that bender as soon as he crosses that linebacker that is expanding and creating space by emptying the backfield. And again, when you can't play too much zone against these great quarterbacks because they're going to pick you apart. You got to mix up what you're doing.
Laros with only Dante Daniels, the big man rookie to his left. They'll fake the run. Zach punts over the top, complete. And for the first time, it's Pokey Wilson getting tracked down from behind. There's a big tackle made by Isaiah Banya. But Wilson moves Winnipeg deeper inside Hamilton territory and trying to answer here once again.
You have a curl, you have a guy in the flat, you have a clear out. What you're trying, and the biggest thing that is good here is you have the opportunity to let the quarterback use his legs. So when these teams are moving the ball well, a lot of stuff comes out in the system. Tommy Condell's multiple, so is Scott Milanovic. So now defense has got to work all this stuff. Now here's a sprint out, get the ball downfield. Nice, easy first down on first down.
Laros makes the run inside over the top. Looking for Wilson, and dangerously hung up in the air. Stavros Katsantonis was there, but he caught it out of bounds. Stavros makes his case. Reggie Stubblefield says he had the best view of it as well.
So you can see a signal. Zach takes a shot on this throw on the outside. So he pulls this, tries to take the one-on-one. Looks like a sluggo on the outside. Zach gets hit as he's throwing it. But Stavros Katsantonis, like for Zach to make this decision to throw this, he's got to trust that the free safety's in the dead middle of the field. But watch Stavros run across the field to get involved and almost make a play. Great range by the free safety of the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Challenge is on deck here.
Hamilton is challenging that the previous play should have been ruled interception by Hamilton.
And you can
will review the play.
You can see what's happening. The communication. So you have to build communication between your players and your coaches on, hey, I believe this should be challenged. So you have certain signals. Was this a catch or not, or was this pass interference? We used to always, we used to go ahead and tell our players, hey, grab your throat and pull down on your jersey on your throat to tell us if you want us to challenge. You saw a bunch of defenders coming back on. Here's the play up here on the catch for Stavros. You saw a bunch of players walking up and saying, oh boy, challenge. You saw them all grabbing their jersey and pushing it down. That's telling the coaches, we think you should challenge this. Here's the coaches for the Bombers taking a look.
Offensive coordinator Tommy Condell looking it over with James Stanley as well as Richie Hall up there in the booth. And Mike O'Shea might have been having a discussion about potential defensive pass interference as well. Does he like to challenge the challenge? If it does go against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers here with an interception being called.
Stavros Katsantonis, really good job on a run play with a double move on the outside, finding his opportunity.
They're going to go after Vondrick Bynum, it looks like, for defensive pass interference.
Upon review of the play, the ruling on the field is overturned. It's an interception by Hamilton in goal. It's going to be first down for Hamilton at the 30-yard line.
And O'Shea did drop the challenge flag, and now it looks like they'll whistle. And yeah, the officials are letting referee Ben Major know that we have an objection to the objection. Is this a first? Can you remember a challenge of both sides on the same play?
Yeah, that's happened before. Sometimes out of spite, sometimes.
I think it's legitimate, though. This is an interesting challenge.
Yeah, this definitely could be.
For now, it's the first turnover of the ball game.
Winnipeg is now challenging that there should have been pass interference against Hamilton on the last play. This will now be reviewed.
Chestnut checkers, Lapo.
Vondrick Bynum, we'll take a look and see what happened here. Did he get his hand in early? So you got a double move. So Bynum he's ended up behind. Now he's going. Does he get his hand involved? Is it enough for them to overturn this and make this a pass interference?
Great looks here from our CFL on TSN
Good patience
crew.
by Bynum.
Hand play back and forth both ways.
The end of it, there's a little bit of a grab on that hand, but I would assume this is not an overturn. I don't know if
for anybody watching this at home and saying, well, the ball was so far upfield, he could have never got to it. Does that play into the decision?
They never call that. They never care where the ball is, in my experience, but I don't think they want to put a flag down on this.
We have an announcement.
Upon second review of the play, the ruling on the field stands. There was no deemed penalty for interference. It's first down Hamilton on the 30-yard line.
I like that call, right? Let them play. Let them play the game. You don't. If you're putting flags down on all that hand play, that's going to be a long night. And it wasn't clear and obvious for. It wasn't clear and obvious. No longer for the command center, for the replay center.
First turnover of the ball game is confirmed, and a handoff inside. Larry Roundtree, the third, bounces off two tacklers and a third. And Roundtree winning the running back starting job at a training camp and making the most of it here on his first CFL road game.
Well, it comes down to the blocking on the inside. Watch this crease right here. Boom. And then I'm going to come all the way on the outside. Really good blocking on the perimeter to give you the opportunity on Max Mang doing his thing to give not only catches but also blocking.
Roundtree tripling Brady Oliveira's total so far in rushing yards. DeAndre Smith adds another to the tally here in week number 2 for another first down. And the Hamilton offense last season, 134 points off turnovers. That was 34 more than second place Saskatchewan. They're back at it again.
Yep, quick throw to the outside, get out of bounds, stop the clock. Yeah, you need at least one more first down to get yourself 3 points. And can you in 39 seconds get all the way to the end zone?
DeAndre Smith in conversation with Curly Gittins Jr. with, yeah, I know, I got it. As he went to the line of scrimmage. Mitchell loads it up. Derek Weedfall running in behind coverage and has to play defensive back on that one. Knocking it away is Major Williams all over it.
Yeah, Major Williams in the deep part of the defense, already deep. That's a hard one to just throw it up for when Williams is already deeper than Weedfall. Weedfall actually does a good thing trying to knock this ball down to prevent the interception. Good high point after it, but Williams is in a deeper position because he dropped out in the zone early.
Crowd gets into it here with 32 seconds remaining. Larry Roundtree III is checked out. Johnny Augustine, undrafted out of Guelph, played some time here in Winnipeg in behind Brady Oliveira, is in the backfield with Mitchell. Bo looks to throw. Weedfall floating through the air And another incredible back-and-forth battle between Wheatfall and Moxie.
Great concentration by Wheatfall. This is a throw to the wide side of the field. So Jonathan Moxie's the wide side corner. He has plenty of time to see this ball in the air and run it down. But Wheatfall knows there's going to be a collision. Bo puts it out there early, but it's a good catch with contact by Carrick Wheatfall. And again, that's what you want. That completion right there. It doesn't get the first down, but it gives them this opportunity for this long field goal on the road at the end of the half.
Long field goal here from Mark Leggio. 6 missed field goal returns last year for Trey Vavel. 65-yard return average, including a 128-yard return touchdown. He doesn't want to see the uprights go to the back of the end zone because he loves that this is 1/3 of his job. Will he get a chance to touch the football? He will, but only after it goes through the uprights. What a shot from Mark Leggio at the end of the first half.
Really good execution, obviously, by the kick team. You see McCarthy right there, Leggio. But the best thing is offensively and situational football. There is 3 seconds left in this. So the Ticats took the ball, drove down the field, took all the time off the clock, and got in position to get a score. Leaves the Bombers no time at all to be able to mount and get points at the end of the half. So really good execution by Scott's team.
It's interesting as well, just looking at situationally here. Obviously, Winnipeg get the football first. You would expect to come out to start the second half, but this does not feel like a 14-point gap between these two teams because the intensity and the back and forth. Brady Oliveira has been slowed. Zach Valaros has thrown the interception. So tangibly, yes, Winnipeg falling behind, but you get the sense in the second half.
Yeah,
this is
one of the reasons, Marshall, is that interception for the Bombers. What happened in field goal range. So took points off the board.
As that will do it for the first half of action. This is a good one to kick off the 3-game slate in week number 2. They will retire to the dressing rooms for now, get on the whiteboard, talk it over with the coaching staff, and sort out adjustments coming into the second half, and plenty to do for the Bombers defense dealing with this man.
15 and 19, 3 touchdowns, 79% completion. Really doing an excellent job using his legs, taking what the defense is giving him. When they blitz him, he gets the ball out of his hand. When they're playing zone, he's finding the underneath throws. And when he has to use his legs, he's used his legs. Spreading the ball around to all his receivers and just keeping his offense on the field. There's a 7-play drive that started at the 8-yard line, Marshall. That gives the opportunity for their defense to be fresh and then go make their plays. Keandre Smith, we saw 2 touchdowns in this game. So really good. Fired up Bo Levi Mitchell.
And you see Bo Levi Mitchell refusing to actually go to the locker room as he's sitting there on the tablet working his way through the homework.
Do you think he's watching House of Dragons maybe there? Or
I think he's looking over the fact that last year he led the CFL in attempts, completion, yards, and touchdowns with a CFL best 36. And a little sideways look from Bo as he knows that he really wanted to get something else into the end of that half. We'll throw it down to Kate and the panel here for halftime.
All right, thank you very much. Alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stiegelin. And what a back-and-forth battle. But right now it ends up being the Hamilton Tiger Cats, mainly because of that pick by Stavros Katsatonis. Let's talk about Bo Levi Mitchell. And it's funny, when we were talking the pregame, we talked about the pressure on Bo when it comes to the Tiger Cats. He has come out slinging in this game, 233. And the interesting part is what we've been talking about. It's not Kenny Lawler that his #1 target. Kenny's only got 7 receiving yards. It's Wheatfall, the former Bomber, who is lighting it up tonight, over 100 receiving yards, Milt.
Yeah, and coming to this game, they were trying to stop a former Bomber, meaning Kenny Lawler, where they stopped him. But there's another former Bomber who's going off. Carrick Wheatfall is having an excellent game, maybe his best game so far as a pro. And the big reason is Bo Levi Mitchell. I think this is the best half we've seen Bo play as a Hamilton Tiger Cat. He's really on one. And these great coverages by Moxie, but Bo is just dropping it in. And you see Smith make a great catch, get into the end zone. This has been a special half. 8 different receivers have caught the ball. He's spreading the ball around. The running game is working. We talked about before in the pregame that they also had to get that running game going. They featured Roundtree. This has been a great balanced attack by these Hamilton Tiger Cats.
And Mill, we made the point throughout the last couple of years of talking about Keandre Smith. And the fact that he plays with a little bit of edge. He always gets up. He's always talking. You saw it after the touchdown today. After the catches today, he's talking to the sideline. He's talking to our cameras when we come over there. And he plays with a real kind of edge. And edge, too. I won't say chip on his shoulder, the most overused word in sport. But he plays with an edge. And the reason he has that edge, I talked to him before the game. There was 4 guys drafted before him in his draft class. 4 wide receivers drafted before him. 5 of them. Sam Amulis, Tyson, and Jalen Philpott, obviously guys that everybody knows. But he made the point to me, Keandre did before the game. He's got more receptions than any of those guys over the last 2 years. Now,
game's talking.
Those guys have missed a few games, but that doesn't matter. Availability is a big part of what he does well. But anyway, as I said, he's a guy that's earned Scott's trust. He now, instead of freewheeling, he finds places, finds holes in the defense, and Scott and Bo trust him. He's become a huge part of this offense.
Enoch, we'll get to your thoughts in just a moment, but let's send it over to Danielle, who's standing by with Bo Levi Mitchell.
Bo, your coach told me that last game you guys felt like you were in the driver's seat, but a couple small plays cost you the game. You guys are in the driver's seat now heading into the half. What do you need to do to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Yeah, I mean, I think just stay there, keep your eyes on the road, right, and stop looking in the rearview mirror. Don't worry about anything that's happened this first half. Like you said, same situation last week, up 14 points. I got to be smart with the ball. We got to protect the ball, but we still have to attack. You can't go out there and play soft.
Every once in a while, you whip out the wheels. You get a little run going yourself. Take me through that split-second moment to make that decision and kind of fool the defense there.
Yeah, I mean, they do a great job of covering down. I came out. We had a little double move to Kenny right there. And, Kenny demands attention. So I think he had probably like 3 guys attached to him. I tried to take off, and the wheels gave out about 5 yards down the field, but we got the first down, so it was good.
Thanks so much, and good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
A great start for Bo Levi Mitchell in this game, and a good start for Zach Collaros. You can look at some of the positives, but also some of the things that obviously he would like to have back, particularly that throw. I think we can all agree, too, Zach in last week's game, he was a lot better when he came out in the second half, and they expect this one tonight, too.
Yeah, absolutely, kid. He's not playing terribly. He's 9 of 12, 197 yards. It's not bad for a first half. Obviously, he has that blemish with that one interception in the red zone, but that's exactly it. The biggest issue for me with this team has been offensively. They have to finish their drives. Zach Collaros, I'm looking at the matchup between Brett Munson and Tommy Condell. You look at when you're playing against a quarterback like Zach Collaros, who's seen it all, who's been around for so long, you got to pick. Are you playing coverage or are you bringing pressure? And a lot of the times, Brett Munson was trying to bring pressure, and then after he said, you know what, we'll just get back in the zone and let him finish everything. But finishing their drives is going to be a huge key. But to your point, Kate, coming in the second half, this team has a good ability to adjust very well. We're going to have to watch that in the second half.
Winnipeg did a great job last week of adjusting. Calgary came out in that first half, and they were running the ball. VA was on. Jordan Younger made some adjustments in that second half, and they totally stymied him. He better do it again in this half.
Yeah, it is one of the best things about the Bombers, their in-game adjustments. Meanwhile, the Hamilton Tiger Cats just rolling at this point. They're currently up 24-10. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the 3 teams we haven't seen yet this season. Well, the roadshow is going to continue here at the CFL on TS, and Laura Dykin, the one and only, will be in Montreal tomorrow night as the Argonauts visit the Alouettes, and then it all wraps up on Saturday. What a game this should be. The BC Lions back in Saskatchewan to face the Rough Riders is the banner-raising game for the Rough Riders, and the panel will be at Mosaic in Regina. Can't wait for that one. It's amazing to think, though, we've already had a week and now a little bit of football, and we haven't seen 3 of these teams. We haven't seen the Toronto Argonauts. We have not seen the BC Lions. We cannot wait to see all these guys. And of the teams remaining here and the Alouettes, who are you most excited to see?
I want to see the defending champions play. I want to see the Saskatchewan Rough Riders and see exactly where they're going to go this year. They have a great offensive line to protect Trevor Harris. We always talk about him, but he does the job and he gets the job done. He performed extremely well last year, but if that offensive line can open up holes for AJ and keep Trevor Harris upright, they're going to be a tough team to beat again this year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that game in particular, but I want to see BC. I want to see the BC offense against Sask and that defense in Regina. That's going to be a battle. I mean, look, there's no question when you talk about explosiveness. Nathan Rourke is the best quarterback in this league. Keon Hatcher might be, arguably the best receiver, at least stats-wise. And they're going to come in there on opening night and try to put on a show. And against that defense at home with the banner raised, it's going to be difficult.
It's going to be a great game. 2 great offenses, BC and Saskatchewan. But I'm looking forward to that Toronto-Montreal game. And it's not the team, just a player, one player. And you know where I'm going with this. Chad Kelly. The man hadn't stepped on the field in a year. If he can get back to his form, he can be special. So I'm looking at Chad Kelly to see what he can do in his first game in over a year.
What are you expecting to do?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. What are your expectations?
I don't know. I don't have any expectations. I have none at all.
I'll add this to this team because Chad Kelly, yes, is he going to come back? And even if he is successful and he looks like he used to look, you look at this team last year, Nick Arbuckle was a quarterback, but he played really well. It's the pieces around as well. Are they going to be a complete offense? They barely ran the ball last year. They have to be able to do that so they can support Chad Kelly as well.
You know what? We haven't seen Chad Kelly play meaningful football in 16 months. And I'm with you. I'm fascinated to see how he looks. But I got to say, it's going to be that BC-Saskatchewan game. That Western final was absolutely so incredible. And you're right. I think BC will want to prove a point in that game, too. But Mosaic, that's a different level. It's like being here in Winnipeg in that home crowd advantage.
Okay, it's not that good. Hold on
is,
now.
Milt. I'm sorry. You can't say everything about Winnipeg. We have to give a little bit of credit to Regina and their fans as well once in a while. We've got a great one here brewing in the Peg. Currently, it's all Tiger Cats, though. They're up 24-10. Don't go anywhere. Second half action with Marshall and Lapo is coming up next.
The numbers after the first half of play here in Winnipeg is the rushing yards leaning the way of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. A little bit surprised, but a back and forth battle with the quarterbacks as you would expect. That turnover looming large as well. Tommy Neal is in his first half making a big impact for Winnipeg and so close to getting a touchdown as well, just off his fingertips.
Yeah, 4 catches, 76 yards for Tommy Neal. And, you know, early in this game, that's who Zach threw. The first 3 completions of Zach were to Tommy Neal. And just showing the ability to do really good things. A couple of shots underneath into the zone. And now we have, let me throw down to the sideline with Danielle with Tommy Neal.
Tommy, 4 receptions for you, over 70 yards. How is that chemistry coming along with Zach?
Yeah, just trying to take it one play at a time. We've worked well together at training camp, and in the first game, just trying to build off that.
What do you guys have to do here in the second half to kind of get things going offensively again?
Just stay on the field and finish drives.
Thanks so much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Tommy Neal into a rhythm with this offense, but more points needed on the board because I don't think there's any slowing down of that guy right here. And Zach Collaros knows it as he stares down the second half of the Tiger Cats defense. The Tiger Cats defense that he said on CFL.ca was one of the top 3 underrated ones in the CFL in his opinion, including Stavros Katsitonis is one of the most difficult defenders because he's so good at disguising looks and covering ground. And we saw that as Stavros got the interception off Collaros in that first half.
You know, Marshall, a little bit the game within the game. You know, the Bombers are 0 for 2 in the red zone. They have that interception, took points off the board. Ticats 2 for 2. Scored touchdowns both times they've been inside the 20. That's probably the difference in this football game.
Absolutely. Opening kickoff, second half. As Trey Babel gets it handed to him by Michael Chris Ike, get a big special teams tackle. Braxton Hill.
That's crazy.
Back in the lineup.
Just let him catch the ball.
Yeah, let it roll to him. But Braxton Hill happy to oblige as he goes to his starting position on defense after making the special teams tackle.
I don't think this is a new play, but hey, you take it. Aren't you the best player? You're the best special teams player in the league. You get the ball. I'll just go behind you and watch.
It took a Chris Ike bounce. What was he supposed to do?
Yeah, it went right to him. Good for Chris.
Winnipeg goes back to work. Nick Dembski looks like he's getting them set on the line of scrimmage. Snap comes up. They'll try to get the wheels turning on Brady Oliveira early on. And right down the left side of that vaunted Bombers offensive line, but a flag flies in the back.
With an outside zone play like this, I think, especially with some pressure, we might get a holding call here. Whether it was on Stanley Bryant or not sure. I think they got established a run. 34 yards. Yeah, you know, for Brady, no, 22 yards on 6 carries, only 3.7 yard average, longest 7. Try to get something going, some explosive plays to Brady.
You know, Winnipeg wants to run the football. They want to win the game by running the football.
Illegal low block, Winnipeg number 83. We'll go back 10 yards. We'll replay first down.
The question becomes, when does the math start working against that in terms of having to throw it down the field as Tommy Neal takes the penalty?
An illegal low block. Tommy Neal's going to come in. He's going to be trying to block this defensive end. These are difficult jobs for receivers. And he's coming into the box, and he has to be inside the defensive end so the defensive end can see him. When he comes outside in to make that block and he goes below the knees, that's going to be called an illegal block for that. He's got to get closer in front of the defensive end so the defensive end can see it happen.
Neal just 10 yards away from his career high with 86 yards. As catch made by Nick Dembski, thrown backwards by Braxton Hill once again. But as Neal sits 10 yards away from a career high, he cost them 10 yards there and backs them up. First and 20, gain of 6 from Dembski. Now it's 2nd and 14.
Puts him in at least a position that it's still not too long of a throw. Good recognition by Zach, saying everybody's going on they're taking the deeper routes, take the underneath, get some yardage.
That catch number 499 of Nick Dembski's incredible Canadian Football League career. Surefire Hall of Famer. 500 looms large, and over the top, Poogie Wilson makes the grab. What a throw, layering it in from Zach Collaros, past Brian Baker and in front of Destin Talbert.
Throwing the football is all about timing and space. Run an underneath route, let the other two receivers clear everything out, get the high players, and then sneak Ontario Wilson back up at a different time. That timing gives a chance for the defense to lift. Zach recognizes it and throws this underneath ball. Started underneath, then went north-south. Great timing and execution by Ontario Wilson.
Ellie is in as a 6th offensive lineman here as Collaros has to dance away from pressure and now fades this one to Tim White, who signed with Winnipeg 2 days after he was released by the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and White picks up the first down as Collaros evades the pressure.
Good pressure by the defense, but Zach gets a feel for it. He sees pressure by Fox. As Fox starts to come in, he starts to move. A little bit of pressure actually on the left guard as he climbs the pocket. Great quarterbacks are always looking for the next throw. He sees Tim White coming across the field in that space. Too much time for Zach Collaros to come in.
Tim White even looks fast when he's coasting in 3rd gear. Inside handoff, not going very far. Also started for the 3rd straight year to Tim White at Calgary. Did it the last 2 years as well with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He wanted to play somebody else. I'm just not sure he knew it was going to be against his old team, the Tiger Cats, but here he is.
And, you know, really talked about, like, enjoying the process of coming here to Winnipeg. Loved the fans. Thought it was really special to be around these fans and really to be back with Tommy Condell was an easy thing for him because he knew the system and spent time with Tommy and Hamilton.
But this from the Bombers faithful. Packed house. Sellout for the 15th game in a row. They go dead quiet on 2nd and long. Back brings them to their feet for a moment, but now it's Julian Hauser, and the East Division most outstanding defensive player from 2025 gets home on Collaros.
Multiple defenders at the line of scrimmage. You got a bunch of guys here close by, but Julian Hauser starts to go in, and then he recovers as Zach goes to scramble. He makes an inside move. This is a twist. He's trying to pick the center, and then as Jack starts to climb the pocket, he falls off the center, recognizes Zach going. Julian Hauser really good, setting up the pick, but then also recovering to create the sack opportunity.
Isaiah Wood stands back. It's Sergio Castillo, misses a second. Went off the uprights earlier, never in doubt on this one. But once again, the Hamilton defense does an excellent job as a couple of defensive linemen standouts. Hauser and Seresna say hello to each other. Last week, the Tiger Cats only had 1 sack. This, the first of 2026 for Julian Hauser. Larry Roundtree, the 3rd 4 carries for 27 yards on the first drive in this ballgame. He had 8 carries for just 23 yards in week 1 against Montreal. You see the downpour there at the start of the game. That might have influenced the play calling just a little bit, Lapo, but the rain's starting to come down here once again, and the Hamilton offense on the field. You wonder if 37 is going to get some more love.
10 carries, 57 yards. So the best thing that Ticats done is they've stayed on the field offensively. That allows you to get other people touches. When you are 2-ing out, when you get a lot of 2-and-outs or you're in second and long, your tailback's not going to get touches. So Bo and company have done a good job of staying on the field, allowing everybody to touch the ball. And that's why Larry Roundtree has 10 carries in the first half.
So Max Mang that had a touchdown in the first half as well, back on the field at tight end, bottom of your screen. And they will begin with a handoff inside, and the Winnipeg defense, just like they did last week against Dedrick Mills, shutting him down in the second half. They begin with an extremely positive defensive stand. Cam Lawson out of Queens in the backfield.
Cam Lawson's in there. You got Kyrie Wilson's also in a position where he's unblocked at the point of attack and is able to make a play on this outside run by the Ticats, forcing the second and extra.
Clock rolls inside, 10 minutes remaining here in Winnipeg. Week 2, kicking things off on Thursday Night Football. Marshall Ferguson, Paul LaPolice, Danielle Bain bringing it to you from a sold-out Princess Auto Stadium as Bo Levi Mitchell tries to check it down. And it looks like he was aimed directly at the feet of Curly Gittens Jr., just doing anything to get rid of that one and prevent a loss.
And a good defensive stop. The Ticats were checking at the line of scrimmage, trying to figure out, they were changing the call as they go. But this is one of the few times you've seen tonight. If you watch Bo Levi, he's looking to his right, can't find anything. He's now flipping across, going to his check down. And when you make a quarterback hold the football, the pass rush will get to him. One of the first times that's happened tonight.
Good job getting home that time. David Reese into the lineup at the defensive end spot opposite Willie Jefferson. And now Trey Babel gets the edge, gets a couple of blocks, flag flies. Way behind the play, Tyler Turnowski. Omnipresent on special teams, 88 there to make it, but Trey Babel continues to electrify this crowd as they continue to believe that one of these times 23 is going to break this game wide open for the Blues. It's the biggest World Cup in history, and it's happening right here at home, right in your backyard. Canada's first match at the 2026 World Cup, facing Bosnia and Herzegovina in Toronto tomorrow. Kickoff 3 Eastern, 2 Central on TSN, CTV, and Crave. Mexico 2-0 victors today over South Africa in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. As Mexico City just about exploded on the first goal they scored to open up the tournament at home, and Winnipeg ready to give Brady Oliveira some love as well. The rain drifting sideways here in Manitoba. It's been a very rainy, very windy week, and the running game may be taking shape.
Gap schemes, what does that mean? You run people, you bring people over to one side of the field, and you separate the defense, and Brady finds the crease inside. Nice 8-yard run to start the drive, put him a nice second and medium. Keep getting the short yardage people out on the field in 2nd and 2.
Reggie Stubblefield made the tackle, said he watches Saskatchewan, Calgary, Edmonton to understand the schemes of some of the other great Sam linebackers in the Canadian Football League is short yardage. And they sneak it forward with Perkins for the first down as flags fly. I expect that's against the Tiger Cats defensive line, but Reggie Stubblefield.
Offside, Hamilton defensive line.
Said that he
will go up 5 yards.
Likes to watch whether it be a Darius Pickett, C.J. Revis, some of the well-known guys around the league as we see inside that 1 yard.
Definitely that's an offside.
Interesting to know that players are watching and going, yeah, we run a pretty similar scheme. How does that guy run that blitz?
Yeah, and you know, certainly we talked about Reggie off the top, like just harder for those players that sometimes you got to play in the box, sometimes you got to play coverage, sometimes you got to play coverage to the weak side, sometimes you got to play to the strong side. You have to recognize formations and get lined up. So very difficult job for those guys.
Camaros fakes the run inside, and with the rain driving down harder, pressure supplied that time. Looks like it was Philip Osai. Yes, as you can see just how hard the rain is coming down.
Watch the recovery of Phil Osai on the zone read play. Zach pulls it thinking he can get around the defense, but watch this recovery. Zach has nobody to throw to the ball quickly, so he's got to get the ball out of his hand to prevent the negative yardage play.
And leaves them with 2nd and 10. 8 sacks for Osai last season. Consistent force of pressure on the Tiger Cats front. Laro's snap almost caught him off guard right into the face mask because he's tried to dance his way out of it and he can't. Hamilton gets another sack, and I think Hauser's going to get at least part of it, maybe the whole darn thing.
Watch Philip here. You'll see him right here as he goes. Watch his move off the edge. Okay, he makes it, starts to make an inside move. And again, the biggest thing is a defensive lineman, as you're working towards your gap, you'll see the quarterback start to get antsy and start climbing the pocket. You just got to move inside and be in a position to make that play as he moves inside. Really good by Julian Howard.
Well done by Isaiah Wooden to catch that one on the skip. The low line drive punt from Jamison Sheehan. Skipped into the waiting arms of the returner, and downfield to make the special teams tackle is Canadian Nick Hallett. As Collaros fighting his way through the conditions, and a Tiger Cats defense suddenly relentless with the pass rush. Levi Mitchell, after a very slow start to his Ticats tenure in 2023, has rocketed up the rankings here. As you see Danny Mack clearing away at the top of this ranking for franchise history. Mike Kerrigan, Bernie Filoni, Jeremiah Masoli. Joe Zuger is next up the list, but it's KG falling to Bo Levi Mitchell here tonight.
Yeah, and you know, Kevin Glenn had a great career in this league. Process information, got the ball out of his hand. That's it. Played at a number of organizations, almost every team in the Canadian Football League for Kevin Glenn. It was a great achievement for Bo Levi wearing the black and gold.
Love that guy. Hope KG's doing well. One of the great people around the CFL, and long-time battler, as you say. Inside handoff goes for a gain of 3 or 4 here as the rank continues to fall. And just like Bo Levi Mitchell, you know, anybody who has the opportunity, the gift of catching a football from a professional quarterback. Remember the first time I caught a ball from KG? He barely put his arm into it, and it hit me like it weighed 20 pounds. And immediately I went, oh, that's what a professional quarterback throws.
Yeah, and when you saw that list, Danny McManus at the top of it, Kevin Glenn, those two guys were similar. The ball came out of their hands immediately. They processed information as fast as I've ever seen in Canadian football.
Eric Wheatfall, wrong side here before the snap, so he jets to the other way, and now they hand it off. Larry Roundtree trying to get around the edge, bounces off 3 tacklers, and it takes a 4th to finally bring him down. If Evan Holm wasn't there, Roundtree might have gone skipping down the sideline in front of the Bombers bench.
What a great run by Roundtree. And again, all this movement, when you're thinking some big pass plays coming up, because everybody's getting lined up. No, it's just a simple inside zone play. Larry bounces it outside. People are there for him, but he keeps his legs going, gets north-south, gets his shoulders turned, be able to make one miss and create this first down. This is all Larry Roundtree. I love it. Great run.
It makes you wonder as well, as he's down 30 pounds in preparation to come to the Canadian Football League. He's going to be running more routes. He needed to have his cardio in better shape, as is usual for players coming up. They ask, hey, what do I got to do to be successful up there? What kind of power would he have had 30 pounds heavier when you see runs like that? Anti-Litre in motion as Mitchell looking at a ton of Bomber defender bodies out to his right. That's the direction they'll try to run, but wrapped up. Lying down the line of scrimmage.
You know, I think what an interesting thing, Marshall, that happened in our interviews with Scott this week, as we see them moving the ball pretty well. Like they asked Scott had said that a couple of people around the building said, hey, you seem a lot calmer this season. He's like, yeah, I'm not yelling as much. I'm in a better mood because we've got the foundation. We've kind of avoided, you know, the guys know what to expect from me. I know what to expect from them. We got good leadership in the building. I'm in a little bit better mood. Not all the time, he said.
Same conversation we had with Mark Tilleman going into week 1, right? Year number 2. It's easier when you have continuity. Thrown to the outside. Myron Mitchell gets popped out of bounds by Evan Holm, just shy of the first down marker. But he did say after the Thursday Night Football loss against the Montreal Alouettes, he's like, I'll tell you guys this, it wasn't real fun to be around Friday morning. I ripped just about everybody in the building on Friday morning. I got it out of my system. We went back to work.
Mitchell gets a nice catch here on the sideline. Bo Levi, you just can't stop these when he throws it on time and with rhythm. Right? Some of the best things about Scott Milanovic's offense is how quickly the ball can get out of your hands in their quick game passing.
Gala in for short yardage. Hot step, leans to the right. And on 3rd down and 1, just across the Bombers' 55, he does pick up the first down yardage.
Massive bodies in there. We got a bunch of guys trying to sort that out and figure out where that spot is for that first down.
And it is a first down for Hamilton. Get a look at it here from our great crew down the line in the rain.
Got rid of Cramdy right there on the edge.
Never in doubt. Again, Chris Kolinkowski, despite the fact he's not starting, he is on short yardage to some of these extra offensive linemen sets. Liam Dobson, the center, leads the way.
And what is really good right now is, like, as an offensive coordinator and a play caller, when you're moving the football, the entire offense is available to you. So you can go, I used to call it the Rolodex. How many things? Oh, I got to show them this now, show them this. That's what rhythm brings to your offensive system, and here's a rhythm play right there.
Is this one of the Paul LaPolice vaunted wrong way runs?
Well, you know, you're faking one thing and then you have an option. That's pretty late down your play call sheet. And then when you're like, okay, we're moving the ball fine, you've got confidence to be able to call these. So this is a little bit of a zone read action. And then they're going to go ahead and fake this inside zone. But then it's actually a little flip play. We've got people blocking on the perimeter. We're pulling an offensive lineman, Quentin Barrow, to get outside, trying to misdirect. So first downs create creativity in your offensive system.
Barrow, in his 3rd year at Grand Valley State, joins another former Grand Valley State offensive lineman, Brandon Revenberg, former 3rd overall pick in his 11th year with the black and gold. As flags fly this time, DeAndre Smith for now has the first down. And we'll clean up the laundry.
I think we're going to see Curly Gittins Jr. with an offsides here.
Offside, Hamilton, number 7. We'll go back 5 yards. We'll replay 2nd down.
The top of your screen. All 2-4. Let's see all the way to the top. That little motion there. Oh yeah, that's way offsides. When you have the waggle, you always, I know you have to clear out for underneath routes, but you've got to have a little bit of depth on your waggle with the motion.
Mitchell adamant walking down the field to have a conversation with a couple of his receivers despite the completion. Work to be done on that play in Mitchell's mind. They'll empty it out 3 by 3. And Levi complete. Kenny Lawler on the receiving end. Tackle made by Major Williams, but at the sticks on 2nd and long. Mitchell to Lawler.
Can I do a little, like, here's what I'm just going to say. Just watch Kenny Lawler, this whole process. Just watch his hands. So the ball's on the way. He sees it quickly. He knows the ball's coming. Both throws it early. Kenny has no problem finding this, tracking it in the air. One of the best at seeing the football into his hands in the Canadian Football League. Just love his ability to do that.
And even when he's not having a massive night, you can just feel the gravitational pull of 89 and everything that the other defense has to do. Is Larry Roundtree, the 3rd, gets stacked up on a short gain. One of the true breakout games for Kenny Lawler was September 27th, 2019, his 12th Winnipeg game. 10 targets, 10 catches, 144 yards against Hamilton Tiger Cats.
I guess I called some of those plays.
Yes,
I don't know.
you did.
I don't remember.
I wondered, I went into the archive. Okay, so when was the next time he had a bigger game in his CFL career than 144 yards? I didn't have to go far. 2021 Week 9, 14 targets, 12 catches, 205 yards. When he is on, there is no stopping Kenny Lawler. Mitchell looks away from him this time. A host of other receivers ready to go to work. Myron Mitchell makes the grab short of the sticks. Looks like it'll be about 3-4 yards, and it's enough.
So from a quarterback position, we just keep talking about Kenny Lawler. Well, there's 4 receivers over here to the right, and Kenny's off to the left. Well, defensively, they put 2 people over on Kenny Lawler, and that's going to leave them 1 short to this multiple receiver side. Quarterback sees it pre-snap because of the alignment of the formation. Myron Mitchell's open in the curl. Bo Levi puts it right on him for a nice 9-yard gain.
Much better spot than I expected after he got tackled backwards. So Dolegala leans to the right-hand side, and better push that time from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defensive line, especially the left side. But Dolegala, so difficult to stop in those short yardage situations.
of us, we got Rhett Cranby trying to get involved in this play and everything. And like we talked about, Osh talked about how aggressive Rhett Cranby is, how smart he is as a football player. I try to show a play about Rhett Cranby is one of those guys who has to play sometimes in the box, sometimes around the ball. You saw him right there close, because the Bombers are going to move their free safety sometimes right to the end of the line of scrimmage, sometimes it's going to play in the box. A lot has to be done by Rhett Cranby.
Mitchell with a blitz on, single of coverage outside. Kenny Lawler hanging in the air, and it skips away. Don't often see that. But Kenny Lawler on the final play of the third quarter, an opportunity to extend the Hamilton Tiger Cats lead, but it falls to the turf. Major Williams there in coverage. These two teams both having their season ended in 2025 by the Montreal Alouettes. All that matters tonight is getting the victory here to kick off week 2. Great ball game to get week number 2 in the CFL going, as it is a tight one. The Hamilton Tiger Cats leading, and you can see there some of the rushing numbers still leaning heavily towards the black and gold. But I mean, it is back and forth at this point, and you'd love to see the way that Bo Levi Mitchell is attacking, but Kenny Lawler, he'll take a shot to him at any opportunity, like he just did a minute ago. Yeah, and you know, we'll see Hamilton challenged to see whether this is pass interference, and we'll see on Major Williams. We'll see what happens on this challenge. This pass out here in the 1-on-1. So this is a 1-on-1 situation. What I was kind of talking about earlier is like, this is the first time in a 4-by-1 set, 4 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, that they played man-to-man. And as soon as Bo Levi Mitchell sees that it's man-to-man, he's like, I'm throwing to my guy. I'm going to throw to this until you put 2 people. Now, if you look at this shot from the all-24 look, there's nobody over on that side of the field. It's just a 1-on-1 situation. So that's all Bo's looking for. As soon as that shows up, he's taking it 100% of the time, and he does. He's got a big target who can go up and catch the football. A few drops, but you see the chess match between the defense of Jordan Younger and Scott Milanovic. As the challenge was in place, and we have an announcement.
Hamilton challenged the previous play for defensive pass interference. After review, the ruling on the field is overturned, and we do indeed have pass interference against Winnipeg 24. It's going to be first down for Hamilton at the 1-yard line.
They'll put it at the 1 to open up the 4th.
Brutal penalty here, because the ball does get placed at the 1 when this PI happens in the end zone. Just going to say that Major Williams brought him down a little bit too early before the ball was there. He was there before the ball.
Williams confused.
Now you're going to go to your short yardage game, cover all your edges, and call for it for a yard, get an easy score.
And we'll have to see if Rhett Cranby gets down into a 4-point stance like he did
last week.
Back against Calgary at the very last second when they weren't lined up properly. Dolagala finds a hole to the right-hand side and punches it in. Hamilton extends their lead to open up the 4th.
The difference this Ticat offense has been able to stay on the field no matter what the Bombers are trying to bring. Bo Levi Mitchell has been able to create first downs. They've been able to run the football, throw a lot of different things at this Bomber defense. The pass interference is a crucial, difficult penalty. You know, you're leading, you're going to end up kicking a field goal there, but then that gives you the penalty, ball in the end zone for the automatic touchdown from them.
Leggio as a flag flies. Knocks the extra point through. By the way, in 2025, the red zone touchdown percentage for the Tiger Cats was 57%. They were 30 touchdowns on 53 opportunities. So far this season, 7 of 8, they're hitting an 87% touchdown when they get inside their opponent's 20-yard line.
We have a illegal formation against Winnipeg. They had 7 defensive players on the left side. This is a 5-yard penalty that's going to be applied on the ensuing kickoff.
Let's go back to take a look at that touchdown. So you're basically covering every edge. Jake Dolegala is going to find the crease. Why do you go off tackle? Why do you go a little bit farther? Because you put as many people as you can right over the center and the guards. So you widen it out a little bit. Just find the first crease, fall forward for you.
And it's not pretty. It won't be celebrated. But right at the point of attack, aside from Quentin Barrow, the right tight end, the 6th offensive lineman, Chris Kolinkowski, who spent 5 years here in Winnipeg, basically lunging his way forward and taking all of his weight and clearing the right side of that offensive line. As you see, the first person to help up the quarterback in the end zone is Kolinkowski onto his feet there, big 67.
Yeah, and then you see those guys, and now how about this celebration a little bit? They got something going.
Oh, they gave it to Chris.
And then he didn't know, what do I do with it? Do I have the ball?
Get over
you
here.
Want me to have it? Tries to spike it. Now they're all watching. Pretty cool to see the big man open out. Jake Dolegala doing a good job for this short yardage team in the last couple of weeks, the last 2 weeks.
Who was it that had the whiff on Thursday Night Football last week? The lineman that did the back line and the ball didn't come with? I think it was a balk officially.
But a lot of reps like that. Milt Stegall used to bring all the receivers into a meeting room just to practice what their touchdown celebration was doing. And I one time said to him, to Kahari, I'm like, what are you guys doing? Are they going over their last meetings? And they're like, no, he's going over his celebration that he's going to do after he scores a
Illegal
touchdown.
kickoff out of bounds.
Like, oh, okay.
Hamilton 33.
At least he does it together. At least they're on the same page by celebration.
And despite the 31-13 lead, that lack of execution from Mark Leggio will not make Scott Milanovic happy as he goes back to the tablet. By the way, I did notice here on the way in today that gate number 1 is a very large picture of Milt Stegall holding up the number 1.
Yes.
You're making your way into Princess Auto Stadium. Beautiful venue. And despite some of the rain coming down here and there, a beautiful night for CFL action. Again, another sellout in this incredible city and province when it comes to their football team that they love so much. Is over the middle. Tommy Neild adds to his total, and that'll be enough for a new career high for Tommy Neild.
So really good. Like, the problem in this part of the game now for the Bombers is they're going to have to go with speed. They're going to have to go with tempo to get back in this game, but you're going to have to throw the football. So they got to do a really good job of mixing up their play calling, because you've got 4 defensive linemen who are going to rush the passer and not care about the run. Something that, you want to do against Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Make them one-dimensional, make them throw the football.
15 yards for Tommy Neild as Zach Claros operates at the line of scrimmage against a 4-man rush. About to get hit. He does by Kendricks, and now it's Stubblefield in a wrestling match with Nick Dembski. And Dembski's on his feet with the football in his hands. The flag is out, but who hooked who?
Yes, is it defensive pass?
Defensive pass interference, Winnipeg number 10.
Or offensive
This is a 10-yard penalty, and we'll replay first down.
So it looks like Dembski. So this is a corner route to the corner of the end zone. Stubblefield's outside position. So as Dembski's going up to try to make the play, he pulls Stubblefield down. I don't think it by accident. Dembski makes the huge catch, but that he was on the collar, pulling back, creates the huge penalty off the amazing catch by Nick Dembski on the ground. But it's in the right call.
Yeah, lost in all of that is just the 10 out of 10 degree of difficulty to be sliding down in wet conditions and
catch it, get up,
track the football.
You always coach your receivers like, we want the PI, yes, but we'd rather you catch the ball and score. So that was a great play by Dembski. Just can't do that, what he did to start.
1st and 20. Will Zach just try to get half of it back? He dumps it down underneath. Oliveira puts a shoulder down. He'll get more than half.
So good. You still got to keep Oliveira involved in your system, even though you're throwing the football. This is a good thing to do. You know everybody's going to drop out in 2nd and 20. Make yourself an easy completion. Let him get his shoulder square and get down to create 2nd and medium.
So Stanley Bryant supplying the block that time, and Patty Neufeld, his right guard, said Stanley unquestionably the greatest offensive lineman to ever play in the CFL. 4-time most outstanding offensive lineman. Only player to ever do that as he blocks for Colaros here on 2nd down. And underneath, it's Tommy Neild. Again, thought about reaching that football out, but there were plenty of Tiger Cats ready to swat at it.
Good recognition by Zach. See, it's man coverage. And then going, all right, I'm going to take this throw on the outside as we come in. I believe that's what they're doing. As they come in, everybody runs inside breaking on the slant. throw it to the Bynum on the outside at the corner position. He's a little bit farther off in that spot. Quick decision by Zach.
Forward progress deemed to be enough for the first down. And now referee Ben Major whistles it dead for a moment.
The video official has corrected the spot. It's going to be third down. We're about 2 feet short of yards to gain. It's going to be third down.
Based on the football being in behind him on that back left hip, boy, I thought it looked a little bit short, but they originally gave it to him. We'll get a better look at it here.
Yeah, so the replay center, one of the things as plays are rolling, they're going to try to check to see where this spot was. So they're not going to give the first down right there. Force the Bombers go on the third and short. You're going to have to go here if you're the Bombers. Down by this much.
To earn it the hard way. Perkins in, short yardage quarterback. He motions Oliveira. And Perkins crosses the 40-yard line. It will be a Winnipeg first down.
So now for Zach, do his best to make sure you just keep getting rhythm throws. You're already in field goal range, so the biggest thing you can't hear, like you want to finish this drive with points, so it's real important here. With this, what this call is, that right now you're sitting on a 48-yard field goal. You're going to be real cautious on your quarterback's got to make sure, and you've got to, the play caller's got to make sure, don't do anything with the quarterback that's too difficult for the quarterback in read progression.
Hauser gets buried by Jarrell Broxton. The right tackle is underneath. Ontario Wilson makes the grab, and that will be enough for the Winnipeg first down. Reggie Stubblefield and Ryan Baker there to bring him down.
A couple of great blocks. So take a look at the right side block, and I think Brady Oliveira also has some pressure that he's got to make a block for, helping out before he goes out. But watch Broxton right there knocking Julian Hauser down to the ground, and Zach takes him.
Complete once again to Wilson. Destin Talbert there. Make the tackle as well. 2025, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, as they're on the edge of the score zone here, only had 107 score zone plays. Only Edmonton ran less plays inside their opponent's 20-yard line, as the ball rests right now at Hamilton's 23. And Zach, in order to get a first down, has to get inside that score zone as he looks at the right side of the line and works it only. Lone man at the bottom is Wilson. Catch, run, first down, deep inside Hamilton territory to the 5-yard line. On an island, and Pokey Wilson making easy work.
One-on-one, take the back. There's 5 players over here. 5 by 1 set, only 1 player. Take the slant, get the ball out of your hands quickly, let your player run with it. Good recognition to create the one-on-one matchup to Ontario Wilson.
Laro sends Dembski in motion, looking for that elusive 500th catch taken away by penalty earlier. Now Zach ripping this one into traffic. Wilson catches it, touchdown! Winnipeg has life!
The difficulties of trying to play zone coverage down at the goal line, because guys are going to sit in areas. This is no different than Keandre Smith did earlier in the game. Finds a hole in the zone that's in the end zone. You don't want to get picked in man, but sometimes when you play zone there, you're going to lead.
Ontario Wilson, special player for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers since arriving on the scene. Last year had himself 3 touchdowns, adds one here early in 2026. Touchdown drive for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 8 plays, 65 yards. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, as Tommy Neal got things going. Flying down the field, Zach Laros on target. You felt he was very patient at times throughout that, but it was really all on Wilson, especially the final play.
Yeah, and you just gotta know, hey, you don't have to fight to get anything. They're going to give you underneath completions. Make your underneath completions. Get the ball down the field. Get your touchdown. A lot of football left to be played.
There's listed as just 170 pounds, took a big hit on the goal line, bounced off it, was in the end zone. Or you could say Ontario. Running through arm tackles here is Isaiah Wooden on the return. And at this point, the game comes down to just how much can the Winnipeg defense do to get stops from Bo Levi and Mitchell. But this will certainly help. Collaros to Wilson into the end zone as Winnipeg trying to track down the Ticats. The Hamilton Tiger Cats, it is no secret that they have been slow starters over the last 5-6 years, of course, and they look to stop that 0-2 slide here tonight, losing to Montreal at home in their opener just a week ago. The last time that they had a win in one of their first 2 games, at the very least, back in 2019. So Scott Milanovich believing that they really should have won against Montreal. I'm sure the Alouettes are rolling their eyes hearing that for the 50th time this week.
They could finish off winning on the road at this spot. That would be a huge thing for their team. How much they've struggled to start the season.
Crowd at full throat as they begin with a handoff inside. Larry Roundtree the third for the Rugby Ruck, rolling its way towards the 45-yard line. Won't quite get there. Also important to factor in September 27th of last year when Hamilton came in on a 3-game.
All right, I got to talk to you about. We got a wham play, and what you'll see is you're going to free up a player and you wham him when he comes across. So watch this. The offensive line going to let a player come free. Bang! Then you're going to go ahead and wham him. Max is there. Max Bang to go get the block to create a separation. Let him get upfield. We're going to block you, then get north south for 6 yards. I love saying wham on the air, buddy. Wham! They don't call wham blocks enough.
They go right back to Roundtree. Looks like he might have been stopped short. Good penetration in the offensive line, tracking down the backside. And not a big stat night here for Jake Serezna. The way that it was in week 1, you're never going to be on pace for 54 sacks in the season and hold up that end of the bargain.
And this is what Scott talked about. He didn't feel they ran the ball as well as they needed to last week. They felt they had to continue to go. Larry Roundtree last week, you already said it, 2.9-yard average. So, these things are good. And especially at this point of the game, you can't tell you how important it is that it's a 3rd and 1. Every time you get one of these 3rd and 1 situations, you're taking more time off the clock, with a short yardage play.
Olagala goes left this time, powers his way over the line as we reach the midway point in this 4th quarter. Hamilton holding on to that 11-point advantage. Michael Shea actually talked about the fact that the 35-second clock rolling immediately, different than when it used to have to be whistled in, has basically meant that you can only burn 35 seconds. You can't burn, and then, of course, being very specific, eye to detail, he said, well, you can't burn 47 to 53 seconds. It's 35.
Yeah, and how you understand that is previous clubs would wait to see you walk back. Yeah. So we used to tell receivers, hey, take your time walking back to the huddle. And every different crew made us started the clock a little differently. The league wants more consistency so they can know what the time is going to be.
And off to the outside. Larry Roundtree the third, first down, and Moore turns it back inside, trying to stay in bounds, and the sideline loves it.
A lot of outside zone plays. And what does that mean? Everybody starts running on a course, and then the back is going to go, and he's going to read number 1 and then number 2. If 1 runs, I'm going to cut inside of 2. So as you watch, 1 runs, I cut up inside of 2. 1 and 2. Separate the defense, get everybody running on tracks, let Larry Roundtree find a space. He seems to be really good at these outside zone runs. And he even stays in bounds to keep the clock running.
Handed off once again inside. Last year, albeit there's a lot of turnover in this Hamilton offensive line, considering that 3 of their bodies, Brendan Bordner, Coulter Woodmansey, and Jordan Murray, all went out to Edmonton, but they were averaging 2.4 yards before contact for Greg Bell last year when he was the lead back. And this group shuffled, shaken up, different names in different places, but still creating plenty of movement up front. And like you say, Lapo, sometimes it's that horizontal push as well to just keep people running and be on your tracks. Mitchell works the silent count on 2nd and long, pumps, gets away from the defender, pumps a second time, and then down to the turf he goes. Tony Jones
defensive alignment. What can I do to make it harder for a defense? Well, how about taking Willie Jefferson and put him over Brandon Revenberg? Put him over the guards. Let him win. He wins inside. Bo has to move his feet, has to start climbing. Nobody's open. Creates the sack. Not a huge issue because we still think this is field goal range, but good execution by the Bombers, getting him off the field by putting Willie Jefferson in a one-on-one situation over the left guard for him.
Ray Babel stands back and watches this one once again sail through the uprights. Mark Leggio on the money. Zach Collaros trails by a pair of scores here in the home opener in Manitoba. Zach Collaros in his 39th career 300-yard game, but will it be enough? Might have to get up above 400 in order to lead the comeback right now as full field in front of him, and despite having a tremendous outing, it looks as though Winnipeg needs a little desperation magic, perhaps, here in their home opener.
Yeah, this is going to come down to like Stanley Bryant, Gabe Wallace, Tyler Ellsby, Pat Neufeld, and Jarrell Jackson. Because this is, you know, they're going to be coming after you. They're going to rush 4 people, and they're going to play the pass the entire time. They're going to, Brent Munson's going to twist. He's going to do a lot of things to make it life difficult for this offensive line.
Regis Stubblefield shows blitz, bails out of it. Hamilton plays zone as Collaros will throw into it, and Tim White makes the grab. Destin Talbert there in coverage. First down on first down for the Blue Bombers.
That's what you want. I love that term. First downs on first downs. Got a little ISO Talbert on Tim White. Just a curl route into man coverage. Jack throws it on time. Going to be hard to stop.
Julian Hauser trying to fly off that edge. In tough against Stanley Bryant as Zach fades away from the pressure. Gets it away to Brady Oliveira. And maybe goes backwards half a yard. As Braxton Hill there to make the play, but pressure up front. You talked about it, Lap, off the top of this drive. They're all over it.
Yeah, and then like this, what's so great about what Zach does here, just having the awareness is like, I just can't lose yardage here. So as long as I can get this ball out or make it an incompletion, we're still in 3-down territory. So great play by Zach making the second and 10.
Looks like a 3-man rush. It is as Collaros now with Julian Hauser in his face will rip it onto Brady Oliveira. Again, short of the stick, so now it's 3rd down. Got to go. Trailing by 14 points. Offense stays on to be 3rd and a healthy 4, 4.5, maybe 5.
Hamilton can easily play zone here, giving up an easy underneath. Normally 3rd and 5, you might be in more man coverage situations. Here you can play zone because they got to go a long way to score a touchdown.
And they won't get it in before we hit the 3-minute warning.
This is the 3-minute warning.
And a shake of the head from Mike O'Shea. That kind of night.
Would like to get that done already.
It would have been nice to have
One
that
more
snap
play
off, but we'll come back with the final 3 minutes when we return. Bit of a miscue this time for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as Mike O'Shea watching on and basically had a free timeout, get away from the Bombers and with the new timing rules here.
Yeah, what happens is the clock is going to stop at 3 minutes no matter what happens. So you'd like to run one more play before that to give yourself an opportunity. The clock's going to stop after that play, so get that play so you don't have to burn a timeout and you just save more time on it.
They have one left, but a wasted opportunity for Winnipeg as Collaros goes to work on 3rd down. Needs to convert, knows it. That's why he hangs on as long as he possibly can and tracked down shy of the marker. Tracked down from behind as there is a flag on the far side of the field. But Mario Kendricks Jr. was the one in hot pursuit of Collaros.
Illegal contact on the receiver, Hamilton number 3.
Wow.
This is a 10-yard penalty. It makes it a 1st down for Winnipeg.
Bravian White has the flag go against him.
Right here, Quavion Wright. And why this happened? Because they're in man coverage and they're pressing at the line of scrimmage. When you're doing that, I don't see much of a penalty right there. But man coverage with 2 deep safeties, call it 2 deep man under, tends to get people grabbing when they're so pressed close to the line of scrimmage.
Fresh life for Collaros on offense here is play action. Then he'll flip it out to Oliveira. Braxton Hill gives chase. Bumps the former MOP out of bounds. Hill all over the place tonight after he missed week 1 with a calf injury.
You know, one of the things, go back to that, why the CFL has stopped the clock. The CFL used to go into the 3-minute and they would stop it after that play, because with the 35-second clock you could push it all the way down to 2:30 something. So the CFL wanted more plays at the end of the game, so they said no, we're going to stop it at 3 minutes.
Paul Peters injured early on in this game. Devondrick Bynum is defending Ontario Wilson on the left-hand side. That's where Zach goes, to that left side, but it's Tim White having it knocked away by Destin Talbert.
Destin Talbert does a spectacular job in man coverage. This is a difficult route to handle. Zach knew it immediately. This is going to be what you call a bench out route. The ball's a little late. Talbot gets his hands in just before it's there to be able to make the play.
Watching Tim White run that route from the low angle camera, you get a sense of why he's one of only 2 active players with 4 straight seasons of 1,000 yards or more. The other is Geno Lewis. A short yardage in on 3rd and short, and Perkins rolls his way over the top of the pile. Claros returns with 2:39 remaining, trailing by a pair of touchdowns here in their home opener.
2:39 left, so everybody's running off. You see Zach at the line of scrimmage. You can't waste a lot of time here. The clock will stop, but then it's going to start. As soon as it starts, they want to snap the ball.
Whistled in, snap comes up. Zach looks left, once again in the flats. Brady Oliveira with running room. And it's one-on-one with Braxton Hill, but Brady O gets required yardage and steps out of bounds, and Braxton Hill immediately runs over to Bynum. Having a heated conversation about covering down in the flats. Hill hot on that one, and Stavros Katsantonis had to come in and tell everybody it's okay. We got control of this. Just calm down. Claros take a shot here against a 4-man rush into the end zone and just past the outstretched arms of Tommy Neal. Quavian White, who had the flag, illegal contact a minute ago. They're in coverage.
Brent Munson's trusting his players to play a little bit of man coverage. This is just a comeback at the goal line. A little bit more man coverage than you would expect late in the game. Oh, this is the bite route where they start to run a corner route to the corner of the end zone, then come back down like a curl. Just off it. Good coverage by White. Brent Munson trusting his defensive backs to win versus man coverage on this drive.
Crowd quiet on 2nd and 10. Blitz is on from the Tiger Cats. Zach fields it, rolls towards it, throws, and it is complete down to the 1-yard line. Looks like Julian Hauser. Big bump on Claros, but Zach, mutual respect, helps him back up onto his feet.
So this is what's different, obviously, in the last 2 minutes. So the ball's at the 1-yard line. The entire Bomber offense knew what was happening. They run their players on. They run their short yardage team, their extra tight ends, their quarterback to be able, and they should snap this ball and lose very little time.
Perkins, left-hand side, pushes into the end zone. Michael Chris Ike waving at the entire offense, saying, let's get back to the sideline and plan for a potential another possession, one that might tie up the ball game.
The Bombers going with extra players to the left. You call that an unbalanced look. They put their big offensive linemen to the left, so they have extra bigger bodies, and then they do their quarterback sneak following the big bodies and the unbalanced quarterback sneak.
Castillo with the extra point money. Tommy Neal didn't get into the end zone there as Perkins stole the touchdown from the 1-yard line, but previous career high of 86 yards receiving for Tommy Neal in the CFL tonight. He's at 111. The opportunity, if Winnipeg gets the football back, we expect they will at least once more under conditions we don't know, under score we don't know. But Neal could add to that once again as we see Perkins following the left side of that line with Tuieli amongst the fray.
Good execution of that, trying to run all those players on the field so you can go ahead and do your short yardage back instead of making Zach be in that position. So watching the sideline operation, I thought they did an excellent job of being able to do that at the end of the game.
Bob Dice, teams coordinator, assistant head coach, talking things over. His co-special teams coach James Tuck as well.
How great is this? Let's talk about the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Bob Dice, Jared Baines, Brent Munson, 3 Canadian coordinators in the Canadian Football League. So that's probably one of the first times I ever heard that happen. 3 excellent coaches.
And who are they going up against on special teams? Mike O'Shea and Mike Miller.
Yes.
Right? So, I mean, a little East Coast and Miller. We got a little North Bay and Mike O'Shea. Plenty of crowd representation. 11 plays, 70 yards, 206. The Bombers have more life, yet still in them. Short hopper fielded by Wooden, slides down at his own 33-yard line. Turnowski, he had special teams battle. Joey Corcoran, again, Canadian on Canadian battle there at the end of a CFL game with 2:10 remaining. 7 points separating the two of them. This one could have been trouble if he didn't have that hop directly between the 1 and the 1 on Wooden.
This goes down, lets his offense go out the field. Obviously, what do you call here that keeps the clock running, that isn't the exact same run inside? What do you have in your tool belt that is something a little bit different that keeps the clock running, but is a run play that you can execute?
Hamilton's been lamenting their late game execution for the last 7 days. As Trey Ford in the game here, and they're going to go with a little read option, and around the edge, the athleticism of Ford, who slides down inbounds. What a time to go to the package play with Ford.
Well, we are on Chris Streveler night, aren't we? This is Chris Streveler night. Put your mobile quarterback in, let them all fall inside and pull it around the defense and give him the opportunity to pull, especially having a tight end to that side. And the best thing he does is he goes down right here, doesn't do anything but keep this clock running. The speed of Trey Ford is different.
As far as we can tell, no mystery injury from Bo Levi Mitchell on the sidelines. They're just going with Ford in the run-heavy package to try and kill this clock. Handoff goes to Roundtree. Stacked up, and you wonder if 2nd and long, 19 will dry off those
Timeout.
hands.
Winnipeg.
Head back to the huddle.
Yeah, so obviously that's a package they've worked with Trey Ford. Hey, end the game situation, Trey. Here's 4 or 5 calls we're going to make. We're going to be put in this situation where, hey, when you can use your legs, use your legs. So good scheme and execution. Now it's 2nd and 9. How do they continue to get this first down and finish the game off?
Loudest that Princess Auto Stadium has been all night. Week 2, 34-27. Coming down to the final 90 seconds. Bo Levi Mitchell over the top to Keandre Smith on 2nd down. Caught it! A pair of touchdowns earlier, and Keandre Smith with a massive exclamation mark on his night.
Watch Keandre Smith. He's going to run a corner route. The cornerback is going to stay underneath. Bo Levi Mitchell recognizes the inside coverage by Dietrich Nichols and throws a beautiful ball. He's max protected, so he knows I can just put it to Keandre. Dietrich Nichols too far inside. Great accuracy, great play. Frustration you can see by the Bombers coaching staff.
Condell wants the football back. He wants a chance to go and have Collaros with a game-winning drive as Ford back in the ball game. Run, look, hand off inside. Defensive line all over it from Winnipeg. They made that time out of a 44, Adrian Jenkins.
Loss of yardage to bring Bo back in the game. Everything here has got to be smart. You're already in the field goal range. Make it a 2-score game. Field goal here, so expect to run. Keep as much time off the clock as you can. When the Bombers are matching it by playing, everybody at the line of scrimmage stop the run.
Roundtree running through tacklers. Can't quite get there, down close to the 15-yard line. Gotta admit, as I'm standing here and I see shots of Tommy Condell and Zach Collaros is playing, and the Tiger Cats are using an athletic quarterback to try and ice a game and subbing and mixing and matching. It gives me memories of Collaros and Jeremiah Masoli when Condell was the offensive coordinator.
Danny Fever years ago, too.
Yeah. And Mark Leggio
Huge response by the Ticats football team on the road to be able to drive the length of the field and put yourself in field goal range and burn a bunch of time off the clock to make it a 2-score game.
Play and game clock rolling as they'll kick it inside 40 seconds remaining in Thursday night football. Leggio smooth as ever. So a 2-score game, 35 seconds remaining.
Leggio with the kick. Now we know, points came off the board. Serge Castillo hit the goalpost, right, earlier tonight. There was an interception by the Bombers. Had a turnover in field goal range. Obviously, that turns into the difference of this 10-point game and puts the game out of reach.
You gotta love 5 seconds. I love those Booth reaction shots.
Oh, there's a couple I don't like. There's one particularly I really don't like. It's a Booth shot.
Sorry.
Maybe the 2009 Grey Cup.
Let me say this. I love the Booth reaction shots for the raw emotion, good or bad, that we get from it.
Somebody please turn that one off.
Sorry, buddy. That one's in the archives forever. It's part of CFL history now.
Yes, it is.
Couldn't help but notice, by the way, in the slow-mo of Mark Leggio hitting the triple to go up 10, Scott Milanovic was just walking the opposite direction down the bench in the background, talking to his players. He was like, yeah, Mark's going to go do his thing. I don't need to watch this.
Trust in his guys. This is a big, as we saw that stat on how this team has struggled to win games early up the stretch, to go into Winnipeg's sold-out crowd, to be able to go ahead and win this football game. The best thing they did, the crowd was not an issue because of how they played offensively.
Well, you can't avoid the waves. Oh, big hit on specials. What a shot was that? 83 from the Ticats, Tyson Middlemost. I thought that was Tyler Turnowski because he's known for laying the lumber on special teams and has a number in the 80s, but it was 83, not 88 on Vavel.
Beautiful hit here, coming down with full speed, just dropping Vavel. Middlemost, awesome physicality right there. You want to play pro football? Welcome to that.
Zach Polaros takes the snap and slings this one to the outside. Tackle made on Gavin Cobb. Maybe Tyson Middlemost will upset the fellow McMaster graduate Tommy Neal. Has had himself
look at all the boys fired up
big
on these
night.
Big hits, right? These big hits on teams. The boys fired up. They'll watch that tomorrow.
Pass complete underneath. Tim White adds to his tally. By the way, I've seen Tyler Turnowski block a punt on Labor Day in Hamilton against the Argonauts. I'm not sure I've ever seen him happier than Tyson Middlemost making a big hit. He was loving that. Laros with less than 10 seconds remaining throws this one into a hole. Talbert, Katsantonis each had a shot at it. Falls to the turf. Katsantonis with his first interception of the season here tonight. Wishing he would have had a second to ice things, but it won't change how sweet this victory is for the Tiger Cats for the first time since 2019, winning one of their first 2 games. And they can finally shut down that discussion on how long the donut will linger in the win column in 2026. It wasn't there for long, perhaps shouldn't have been there at all if they handled the back end of week number 1, but they got the job done here tonight. Clock strikes 0 as Nick Dembski makes the grab, and that's his 500th career grab, the 5-time All-West selection. Ends this ball game by becoming just the 19th Canadian in CFL history to reach the 500 career catch mark, but Dembski will end up on the losing end regardless of the tremendous personal accomplishment, as another Canadian receiver, Keandre Smith, he's going to continue to talk all the way into the locker room, I think.
5 catches, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. A huge night for Keandre Smith. Huge at the end. Bolivia Mitchell, 19 and 24, 80% completion, 287 and 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Bo looks, as Scott said this week in our interviews, we have the most offense I've maybe ever had in our system. They look at NFL teams, college teams. They try to figure how can we add to our system. Bo Levi Mitchell is like in week 15 stuff. So outstanding night for the Ticats offense. And the defense, I thought, stopped Brady Oliver for most of this game.
Great action here Thursday night football in the CFL. Hamilton was up 24-10 in week 1. They did not win tonight. They get the lead. They hang on. We sent Danielle Bain into the rum hut. We saw Zach Colaro slinging it up and down the field. A couple of big returns. The physicality, great. What a night. Thanks for watching from Winnipeg. Time now for the original bot. It's SC with Jay.